off on, didn't like the looks of, and kicked out straight away.
Requiring a 7.87 to advance. And he's going to have the freedom with that second priority to pick off whatever he wants on the inside there. And last heat for Tane came out with an 8.17 in his back pocket. So we know he's absolutely capable of producing those excellent range scores. Super talented surfer, flying the flag for Aotearoa, residing on the Gold Coast. So just under 10 minutes left on the clock. Lots of action to come.
So Cade Matson has priority, has an 8.17, has a 7.03, and have a look at those two heat totals, 15.2 versus 14.26. So great numbers for both surfers, but it is the American in the ascendancy. 9 minutes remaining. You'd like to think that Tane Bowden is not done yet. He'd love to add an excellent score of his own to the two tallies and really spice things up with 8.5 minutes to go. And we're heading towards the low tide, but if anything, conditions seem a little bit cleaner in this heat than they were for the previous one with Coley Vast and Justin Becret. Haven't seen so much duck diving as previously. The guys have done a pretty good job of negotiating the lineup. We saw Cade, the 8.17 for the big right that he tore into, and then the 7.03 was just an in-between runner on his backhand, but he found some clean green face and dished out those two solid belts and banked a 7. So 8 minutes to go. Cade Matson, a left and a right in his tally and doing it very nicely. Tane Bowden well within striking distance. A 7.78 the requirement for first. And quarterfinal number 3 will be making its way out to the lineup very shortly. Joe Azuki from Japan. Silent Assassin has just been making his way through the ranks. Third time here at the World Juniors. Made the final 2 years ago, lost to Finn McGill. And Eli Bucas from South Africa, part of a very strong South African squad, but he is the last man standing in the World Juniors. He's still being supported by all of his countrymen. Luke Slipen, Luke Thompson, a couple of the QS Warriors in Slade Prestwich and Shane Sykes are still here. And Steve Sawyer, the world longboarding champion from J-Bay. Goofy, incredible on his backhand. Took the trophy here at Jinsun Harbour in last year's World Longboard Champs. He is well and truly in camp with these South Africans as well. Pretty impressive shortboard surfer in his own right. Has won the trials at the J-Bay Open on a shortboard in the past.
Yeah, and this, if this contest here for our juniors wraps up, which it will, we'll have 2 champions by the end of the day. We'll see the longboard action continue on in this Taiwan Open of Surfing. First day of the holding period for that will be Sunday, December 1st. So we will have a few lay days here, but be sure, one lay day, sorry. But be sure to tune back in for all that exciting longboarding coming up.
Yeah, still not quite guaranteed that we're going to finish today, this low tide. We went on hold for it yesterday for a couple of hours, and I'm sure that Travis Logie is looking very closely at conditions. We're definitely going to keep on pushing on though. Big scores being dropped. It's hard to walk away from this, especially with the uncertainty of a typhoon lingering off the coast that could do anything to this event site over the next few days. If we were finished today, we would be 100% off tomorrow, as Sunday is the first day of the longboarding waiting period.
Just about 5 minutes left in this heat. Competitors taking that last set on the head. Tricky positioning. And still Matson with priority, really close to our New Zealand surfer here.
All right, 5 minutes to go. It's been a very slow last 10 minutes. The first 5 was all Tane Bowden. The next to 15 were a combination of both. We've had a little lull. Cade Matson would be happy if the next 5 minutes ticked by in just a couple of instants, but Tane Bowden will really be hoping he gets the opportunity to sink his teeth into something more substantial. Four and a half minutes to go, and almost a calm-looking scene for an instant there. You walk outside and almost lose your hat, and it doesn't seem quite that way. We saw Corley Vast yesterday in his post-heat interview, shivering away like crazy. Dripping wet, the wind just ripping through the site. So 4 minutes to go. Both competitors keeping a close eye on each other. Tane Bowden needs a 7.78, knows that he's very capable. Cade Matson obviously doing it for himself, but wouldn't mind extracting a little bit of revenge for Crosby, who lost to Tane yesterday, and then did one of the best airs you'll ever see on his way back into the beach. Would have, I think everyone who saw it said it was a 10. So there's got to be bittersweet feelings about that. Obviously doing an amazing air feels pretty good, but knowing if you'd done it a minute or two earlier, it might have changed your fortunes here in Taiwan has got to be mixed emotions. 3 minutes to run.
And interesting positioning here. We've been seeing all of our surfers with second priority staying on the inside of our first priority surfer, tagging off those in-betweeners. Of course, there hasn't been much going on from the sea here. Tane, he wants to get a good wave with lots of scoring potential that's going to allow him to get so far what would be his highest score of the heat. Matson, however, does not want that to happen in any way, shape, or form. Wants to continue to fly the flag for USA. And both of them looking out here. Not a whole lot going on the horizon.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they play out the priority battle here, because Cade, if he can upgrade a 7, he'll make life a lot harder for Tane Bowden. But if he feels the wave is only a 7, then will he sit there, not make a move, and let Tane go? Can he back his judgment? We saw Corley Vast against Dakota Walters yesterday let Dakota go in the last minute, and worked out well for Coley because the wave did not cooperate for Dakota. 90 seconds remaining.
Just in a minute, we're going to see Joe Azuchi, Eli Bukes. Eli surfed a lot of heats, and as we were saying, competitors have to upkeep their stamina. Lots of paddling, and but these guys would like to be paddling a little bit more. Ocean has been super, super quiet.
Yeah, well, this top half of the draw, Justin and whoever wins this heat will have surfed one less time than the bottom half of the draw. This is their first heat for the day, whereas we had to finish round 3. So the bottom half, an extra heat, which half an hour doesn't seem like a lot, but it's getting the adrenaline up. It is very tough going out there. It's the come down after your heat. It's staying warm. The water's fine, but there's definitely wind, and it's staying hydrated. It's timing when you eat and drink. 20 seconds to go. Look at the cat and mouse. Tane Bowden heads left. Cade Matson heads left. Tane is going to double back and go for a left, and Cade will be all over him like a glove. It's looking like time might get the better of Tane Bowden. It's sad to see because he led for a great chunk of the first half of this heat, And, well, this will be his sign-off wave from the Taiwan Open of Surfing. Wasn't exactly a cracker anyway, but he's going to stick with it, make his way into the beach. Absolutely no shame in coming 5th in the world. Takes to the sky, big air reverse. Oh, probably better for Tane's mental well-being that he didn't ride out of that one anyway. So we have our first semi-final decided. Don't go anywhere. We're going to figure out the second semi-final over these next 2 quarterfinals. Men's Division World Junior Championship action coming our way at Jinzun Harbour right after this quick break.
They don't feel like working. Overthinking, I don't mean to let the pain and hurting. I was main stage with Tiny at a festival. Reality's a just less than 24 hours past and I'm back to working. The wage isn't minimum, but when you know your worth is more, you make your own curriculum. Study in the industry, I know you see me killing them. Nice, it felt so real, I had some moments I was living them. Celebrity, civilian, walk amongst the greats that you ignore. The ones relentlessly pursuing every key to every door. It's evergreen and evermore if you're content with living normally. I'm handing in my notice to the world on record formally. I know this life is right for me. I know the future's bright for me. I know my teacher.
There it is, beautiful Taiwan. Welcome back to the Taiwan Open of Surfing. We are into the World Junior Championships quarterfinals. The junior men are out there right now. Huge heats going down. Cade Matson taking down Tane Bowden in that last heat. Vaughan Blakey here. And Vaughan Blakey over there as well. How you going, Vaughano? Good to see you. Mane Keenan and Mark joining me in the commentary box as well. Mane, how have you found the action so far today?
Oh.
There you go.
Very exciting. Yep, more exciting now that my mic is on. But yeah, last heat with Cade and Tane. Tane really had it in the first few minutes of the heat. Really came out of the gates fiery, and C just went a little quiet for him there. Sad to see him go, but continuing on for Cade Matson.
It's been a battle of the men children, the man-childs. Lots of big fellas in those early stages, but now this looks like Joe Azuchi getting his campaign started in the quarters. And Japan well represented in both sides of the draw here at the moment. Good little snaps out of the lips. Sun peeking out from behind the clouds. Isn't that nice for a change?
Yeah, it is.
It's been a bit of overcast this morning, but the wind seems to have blown all that cloud cover out of the way. You can sort of see it does reveal a little bit more chop. You can see how messy it is in the lineup, but still plenty of good scoring opportunities and heaps of swell, big bowls. You've been surfing out there the last few days. Mane, how have you found it?
Yeah, we had that fun surf together after the contest. Fun duck diving, fun getting smoked, but fun waves too. And had that fun surf yesterday also up the point.
Top secret left point. Oh, brings back the... well, I was talking to... You're natural-footed, right? Regular foot. So, you know, we were enjoying the surf, but Travis Logie just had drool dribbling out all over his mouth all the way home.
Yeah, he was on every single wave.
I know. He should have kept his wetty on, I reckon, during the drive home. Not that you need a wetty over here. It's pretty warm. An amazing country, though. First time here. I know we've been talking about it a lot, but Taiwan is just such a little nugget of gold, a hidden gem in the middle of Pacific.
Yeah,
Just,
you were saying that it's a blend of kind of all the places that you really love.
So many different island nations in particular, you know. Like I love Tahiti because I love those big mountains just coming straight out of the sea. Hawaii for the same reasons. But then, you know, you're driving down the road and there's these beautiful rivers and canyons that just drift out of the mountains, and all these really colourful temples everywhere as well. So it's got a kind of touches of that spiritualism of Bali and Japan, and it's just an amazing country, amazing culture here in Taiwan, and it's just a really cool thing to share it. I'm hoping that I get to bring my wife here one day. She would love it.
So sweet.
Chinese food, warm water, ticks a lot of boxes. All right, well, let's find out from Chris Binns just how Cade Matson was dealing with the early stages of that last heat, because he was in all sorts of trouble until he managed to find a couple of corners and pull out some big turns. Binnsy, how's Cade going?
Cheers, Vaughan. I think Cade's doing all right. It's hard work out there, but as long as you're getting through, you're never going to complain.
No, yeah, I'm stoked. The waves are pretty tough, but yeah, I was stoked to be able to lock into a few. I kind of started off really slow and I was kind of a little worried, but then yeah, I like paddled. I was going actually to the left but then a right randomly popped up and it had like 3 sections, so I was really stoked on that. And then yeah, I'm stoked we have some good waves still for finals day, hopefully.
Tane got those 2 scores straight off the bat. You never seen two-phase though. You believed in yourself. You knew that if you got the opportunity, you could easily come back.
Yeah, I know if I can get on good waves, I know I can get scores. So it was just a matter of like if I was going to get them. And yeah, I was really happy that I got 2 good waves and was able to show how I can surf.
Tane's best score came in a wave that you had a really strong look at. Just looked like there was a ridge or something in the face and you couldn't get into it. Do those moments ever get in your head where you're like, oh, that was meant to be mine, maybe things aren't going my way, or do you just keep your self-confidence up the whole way through?
Yeah, you kind of can't let it bother you. You kind of just have to say whatever that didn't go my way, but then you just keep your head on and just, yeah, you got to always have belief in yourself.
And you've got the Frenchman, Justin Becret, is up next. He's been an incredibly polished performer in this event. You guys are both bringing similar sort of styles with the attacks on the lefts and the shorter rights. Have you surfed against Justin much in the past, and what's your tactics going to be against him?
I think I've had a few heats with him, but yeah, I'm just going to stick to my game plan and not really worry about like who I got or whatever. Just surf the way I know how to surf, and yeah, just keep it going.
And it's been Thanksgiving in America. Lots of friends at home tuning in on their holidays.
Yeah, I want to say what up to my family. Love you guys and happy Thanksgiving.
All right, well, good luck with the rest of the event. 2 to go.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, back to you, Vaughan.
Thanks, Binnsy. Some cool insights there. I wonder what is going through Cade's head now that he's got the high-flying Frenchman, a guy who has been a standout in every heat, gets big cheers. Justin, he's been impossible to ignore. I know that, you know, you probably don't want to keep too much focus on your competitors, but it's hard when the whole beach is roaring every time they take off on a wave.
Yeah, he's had a lot of support, and it's cool to see. Everyone's getting real pumped up on the beach, getting closer to that world title.
Ooh, bring it, bring it. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
When you were doing post-heat interviews, because you've surfed in a few Kiwis, had a junior career and whatnot, when someone would say you've got, say, who were one of your contemporaries? Who did you used to surf against? Who did you have a little battle with?
Gosh, just all the Hawaii girls that I surfed against. We were all pretty tight, but definitely Dax McGill, Mahina Maeda.
Yeah, Dax McGill.
Yeah.
Okay, so say in a post-heat interview you had Dax coming up next, and the person that Binnsy was saying, like, okay, you've got Dax coming up next. What's your game plan against her? Would you say something like, well, you know, yeah, we've had a lot of heats and, you know, she brings out my best and blah, blah. Would you go, I'm just going to stick to my game plan of trying to tear her face off and, you know, leave her crying on the sand, wishing that she'd never surfed against me? What was your sort of go-to answer when someone would ask you?
Definitely not the latter. Definitely not. But Dax and I were super good friends. We still are to this day, and traveled a lot with her and competed with her all my life. So definitely wouldn't say the latter.
Well, yeah, might rattle her cage a bit. You never know.
Yeah,
different things can get under different people's skin.
Yeah, I for one was never really going for mind games. It's not really my thing. But but those girls were so on fire during those days. They're so young and really, really progressive. Mahina and Dax, those two really had a rivalry. They were at each other all the time. Not in a bad sense, but competitively, they surfed at such a high level, and it was always, one on top of the other, and then next competition it'd flip. So that was really cool to see them.
It's a funny observation I made in Europe this year as we keep eyes on the lineup. Looks like Joe Azuki just lets that one slide through. Back to 4.17 and a 3.5 so far, Joe. So Eli at the moment is just paddling around the South African representative. Yeah, I was in Europe and sort of got to see Carissa Moore free surfing around the comp area and working with her coach, or one of her mentors, I suppose, Michi Ross, as we look at this action. Zoe Azuchi's pulled off another fine looking wave here. Mid-face carve. Starts to get the big steep section. It looks like he's going to take to the air. He projects that from a mile away and unfortunately just can't ride out of it. Almost sort of took off midway up the face there. But one thing I was always suspicious of with Carissa, which sounds like a strange word to even associate with her because she is just such a sweetheart, it's crazy, is I was like, where's the competitive animal underneath all that sugar and spice? Like, where is that element to her character that's allowed her to win 3 world titles? Because you can't just paddle out and not want to beat people, right? And when I watched her talking with Mitch Ross, her mentor, as I said, she was only worried about her own performance and only worried about surfing her best. And I just thought, maybe that's true of her in every single heat she ever paddles out in. Maybe she really isn't concerned about her rival. Maybe she just wants to surf better than she has in her previous heat, or just keep improving throughout the course of the event. Have you had much to do with it? Do you think that's a fair sort of call on the way that she motivates herself in a heat?
Definitely.
Or do you think deep down she's just a tigress and she wants to tear people up?
Well, if that was the truth, she would never let anybody know it. Yeah, you're saying.
Have you had much to do with Carissa?
Well, I grew up watching Carissa. I was talking to JJ earlier. Huge inspirations for me, all those girls from Hawaii. So, yep, she's been in my mind for a long time.
Come back to that in just a moment. Here goes Eli Bucas, a.k.a. Pete. Nice big off the lip there. Plenty of energy. Dealing with the wind, dealing with the wash. 2-turn wave. So both these guys yet to really find a good section to tee off on, but getting plenty of support from the crew on the beach. And it's cross-nation, that support.
Yeah.
Everyone here just wants to see good surfing. You get down there, sometimes the camps are quite distinguished, but everyone's quite happy cheering on good surfing down here today as we hit the quarterfinals. The first turn was a nice speedy drive. That was a really committed up and over. Semi-re-entry, semi-lip glide. So Eli is on the board now. He'll be stoked on that.
There's Jet getting a little dance in.
He's a character around the contest side, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And he's always got the glasses on, too. You got into those glasses yesterday, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, yeah. I instantly wanted to just get in some lowered V8, just muscle car and start doing burnouts. It just made me want to, inhabit my inner hillbilly and get get the engine running a little bit. There he is, look. Preheat warm-up, little bit of breakdancing.
He knows when the camera's on him, too. He's been there in every post-heat interview, just egging on the boys, making sure he can see them. Yeah.
You've been copping heaps of that, hey? Like when you're trying to be serious, do your role as good as you can possibly do it, and everyone's just heckling from the side.
Oh, major heckling.
Who's been the worst offender?
Well, it's been a group effort.
They're all down there ribbing each other that hard, aren't they? Crazy. Still waiting on scores to drop for Eli Buke's last effort. Says his nickname here is Pete. And the interesting fact that we did bring up with him earlier in the event was, says, anything else you'd like people to know about you? And he says, I run really fast. Which is what you say in year 2 when you want to be the coolest kid in your class. Don't you reckon?
Oh, yeah, big time.
What do you do really good? I run heaps fast. Probably the fastest runner at school. probably going to win a gold medal one day.
Yeah, and he didn't even, I thought maybe he was going to say, oh, I run track or cross country, and nah, just runs fast. Love it though.
So Carissa, let's just go there. We're sitting together. There's a huge world title battle about to go down in Hawaii. We've been talking about it all week. Obviously, being Hawaiian, you'd be backing Carissa to take that one. World title number 4.
Yeah, Carissa, huge inspiration for everybody from Hawaii. And she does it really well. A lot of aloha spirit, as we were talking about before. But also, I would love to see Caroline do something crazy and snag a world title.
Well, that is cool. What's behind the reasoning there? Just to see a grommet take it to the established legends?
Yeah, I think it'd be exciting, and she wants it so bad, and I think it would be really cool to see somebody at her age just tackle that.
Well, my brother Ronnie made the point, you're starting to see world champions, Carissa, Lakey Peterson, Courtney, even Tyler Wright. Like, these girls are surfing at the peak of their powers, whereas Caroline has so much room for improvement. Like, you may not see Carissa, Tyler, Courtney surf a whole lot beyond where they're at right now. They'll refine it, they'll get stronger, but Caroline could take surfing into a whole new place because she is so young still. Her best surfing could be another six years off. That's frightening.
That is frightening.
Yeah, I like that you're backing Caroline. I think she's the best backhand women's surfer we've ever seen. I can't think of anyone who just is that powerful on the backhand, has that much flow.
I
cool.
can't think of anybody else who froths as hard as her.
Really?
She is such a frother. She always wants to surf. Always trying to get all the other girls to go surfing with her, and every wave that comes by, oh my God, did you see that? That was sick. I love it.
I feel like goofy footers are like that, more so than regular footers for some reason. Yeah, I don't know why, but anyway. All right, let's focus our attention on this heat. I love talking women's world title with you, though, because this has been a great year. We'll come back to it when we get to the finals. Right now, Joe Azuchi continues to put Japan in the picture during these World Junior titles. The championships, this is as big as it gets, the WSL-backed trophies getting handed out, possibly at the end of today. 2 world champs being crowned. Japan well represented, both men's and women's sides of the draw. Eli Bukes trying to bring it home for South Africa. He's from Cape Town. Have you done any time over there?
Haven't done any time in Cape Town. Went to South Africa the first time this year.
It's a little bit like Taiwan. Big cliffs going down to the beach. I'm actually just going to compare every country in the world to Taiwan from now on.
I was just going to say that.
Is that cool?
Yep.
Iceland, a little bit like Taiwan. Just a little bit. New Zealand, heaps like Taiwan.
And Azuchi, he, in 2017, came runner-up to Finn McGill here. What do you think is going through his mind, getting so close to the title? Do you think that kind of psychs you out as you get closer into these rounds?
That is such a good question, because some people use a near miss as motivation to take that next leap, and other people, I feel like it almost gets into their blood that is that day ever going to come, so they're not really charging for it, they're just hoping for it, and it's a totally different mindset. I think for a guy like Azuchi, so young, the World Juniors, it's huge. It's probably the biggest thing that would ever happen in your life at the time, but because he's had a couple of shots at it, and he's had a runner-up title, and he's here right now, and he's made his way into the quarterfinals, I think he definitely wouldn't be worried about the fact that he's finished second before. I think you're right. I think he'll use it as motivation to try and go one step better. He's been, if I think about his run through this event, I feel like he's been chipping away at it. He's just been doing his business. We've been talking about a lot of other guys in terms of, standout performances, but there's no doubt that Joe looks really at home at this break. He looks like he has a good understanding of what the rights do. He's gone left when he needs to. And it's almost just superior positioning and understanding of the wave that's really put him at a big advantage. His jet shielding still skylarking around the contest site.
Cade, too, is getting in on it. And, yeah, Cade, he avenged his friend in that last heat. Fellow USA competitor got taken out by Tane in that previous round, so he's doing it for his country there. And meanwhile, our Japanese surfer, Joe Azuchi, on this left. Ooh, this is shaping up to be a nice one.
Big swell line, wasn't it? Stood up nicely for that first turn. He's almost snowboarding across this frothy, powdery inside section. Doesn't get the big, explosive backside attack cranking on that one, but solid wave, and I think under priority, probably not that bad a call. But we've been saying it all morning, Monet. If you go left, you've got to basically put 3 minutes out of your heat to paddle back into position. It's a nightmare down there. Get stuck down there. It's ducked off 4,000 waves just to get back into, not even into position, but just beyond the breakers.
Yeah, that one for Azuchi, it looked like it was going to become a pretty good wave, but as you're saying, snowboarding there. Here in Taiwan in the wintertime, they don't have snow. They have lots of white frost.
What do you think? 3.5? I don't know if that was for that wave or if we're waiting on a score, but it was a solid wave. He did get the one turn under the lip. Think it'll trouble that 3.5 or make Eli's job any harder?
I think just about over that 3.5, nothing crazy. But our South African only needs a 3.1 to get into that advancing place. Again, another pretty slow heat here, relatively low scores. But Eli out the back with priority. He's going to wait for a good one.
8 minutes 20. He can afford to bide his time a bit. He's in a good section of the reef here. He's directly out in front of the contest site, so he'll have his choice of the rights and the lefts.
And Azuchi was also in the 3-star event. So many heats surfed out here for the guys. They must be really getting used to the lineup. And wonder if they're getting tired of surfing out here. I don't think it's possible. Got so many good waves here in Taiwan.
Well, that's funny. We were just comparing Taiwan, the country itself, to so many other spots. Eli now, speedy, up and over again. Really solid 1-2. I love the speed. I love the connection. Lots of flow on that one for the South African. Trying to ditch a 3.1. So, yep, looks like Azuchi possibly getting a 3 or a 3.5 for that last wave.
Yeah,
Nice speed check here.
That's a beautiful turn. Up and over that lip, really smooth. It's going to be a good score for him. Definitely going to attain that 3.10.
It's funny, isn't it? You're looking at the screen and you think, okay, snap to floater. That's, you know, I'm sitting at home, I'm watching that, I'm thinking I could probably do that. But what you don't realise is just how much bigger it is when you're outside of the screen and here in real life. It's really solid. And also the wind and the lump and everything else you're dealing with. So I'd expect a really good score for this one of Eli.
That's right. Now he's under priority, so he has the opportunity to take a look at all these sneaky little insiders. Been seeing riders get lots of scores here on the inside. And heat's winding down here. 6 minutes 30 on the clock. And that's right, how you're saying that left makes you do a really long paddle back out. Our Japanese surfer, it looks like he's only just approaching the right side of our screen, so that did take a while.
I wonder if anyone paddles out thinking, I'm just going to sell a left here. I'm going to try and sell someone into a left and then just move straight back onto the right bowl. Could be a tactic. I'm no surf coach. But I know that Stace Galbraith, who's watching in Australia, he was bewildered that people were surfing the lefts. Couldn't believe it. Keeps a sharp eye on these things, Stace. Could listen to worse people.
Maybe our competitors should start watching the live feed here so they can get your hot tips.
There you go, or just DM Stace if you're watching on the feed. Here goes Azuchi. Oh, he's decided to go left. Well, let's see if this one stands up for him. He comes off the bottom, smashes a big up and over. That's more like it. He needs this thing to stand up again, and it looks like it will on the inside. He'll get a second powerful turn, hooks the board right around 2 turns, but this is going to be his best wave. And he'll have a Long paddle back out here, Monet. I feel like 5 minutes 20 will maybe give him a chance, but take us through this.
Yeah, he's searching for a 5.90 here, so he's looking to turn the tide with this one. That first one was really in the lip, and here it goes. Lines up one more time for him to do a similar turn there. And judges have been awarding scores to those two big turns. Is it the 5.9 that he wants?
Ooh, it's going to go close. Two committed top to bottom turns through the lip. Aggressive. Maybe didn't have the flow from one into the other. A little bit of downtime. It's been a tricky one to call, actually, this heat. There's been some rights. There's been some lefts. There he is way down the point. So far off into the distance, you almost need binoculars to spy him. 4 minutes 20. Eli is sitting out here. He's waiting on this next score to come in.
This is Heat 3 right now. Heat 4 on deck. We're looking at Brazilian surfer, again, Lucas Vicente. And our American surfer, the class clown, Jet Schilling.
Class clown.
Good to see his warm-up technique. That must have been it, the dancing. That's a secret.
I think JJ and I were talking about this the other day. It'd be good to try and rattle your competitors, because you know how everyone's got their bouncy ball, their rollers. Everyone's sort of doing the same stretches. Imagine how cool it would be if you brought down a boom box, piece of cardboard, some powder, and you just start breakdancing to warm up for your heat.
That would be amazing.
Just a rattle, and then you do that "you've got serve" stance at the end of your warm up. Just look at your competitor a bit.
Just dancing, but meanwhile just staring right into their eyes the whole time.
Oh, how awkward is it when someone's dancing and looking you right in the eyes, all earnest? Oh, that's a hectic thing.
Wouldn't put it past Jed at this point. This kind of seems like what he's doing. It's awesome.
Anything that can get you under the skin of your competitor, I'm down with it. Oh, look at this, a 6-point ride. So a good call there. The judges loving the attack, vertical attack, I should say, from Joe Azuchi. And now the pressure swings onto Eli Bukes from South Africa. He's been sitting out there for a long time with priority, and sometimes that can start getting you, the butterflies in the tummy and the goose pimples on the skin. It's like, oh my goodness, how long have I had all this power and I haven't been able to use it?
Yeah, that's not a good place to be. Especially the waves have been slowing down a lot.
But you know what? It slows down. This is so weird, but it only slows down for one heat at every sort of 6 or 8 heats. You'll just see one heat go completely slow, maybe 3 or 4 waves ridden in total from each guy. Oh, Eli's got a howler here. Big open face. First turns just a check. Off the bottom, big closeout Rio. He has been nailing those things. High risk Rio. He needs a 4.68. I think he's looking good for it there.
I agree. That last turn in the lip was really powerful. And this morning we saw that big turn. Here it is again. All right, so here he goes on this one. Waits for this inside bowl. Smacks it. A lot of lip there. Served it.
Yeah, that's a very committed approach to that lip. It was quite punchy. Saw how quickly he went from the top to the bottom of the wave. Really pushed him down, and I think he'll feel like it's enough. A 4.68. He's going to try and get back into position, and even Azuchi's body language here, you can see he's kind of ferreting around the lineup. I think he senses it too. He would have heard maybe a cheer from the crowd. And there, Eli, he does get the score, 6.3. Azuchi down the beach, paddling hard. He's found something here. 1 minute to go. He needs this wave to stand up. Big bottom turn. Oh, he's cracked this thing. First turn is a howler from Azuchi. So he's got the first one in the can, but he needs this one to stand up. Even the cameras can't keep up with him because it is so far down the beach. Wow, this is huge. 42 seconds remaining. Joe Azuchi, I feel like he just sensed it. I don't know if they read out the score in time or anything, but he just knew that it wasn't quite enough to hold on to that lead, and Eli Bukes had taken it. But what happened? way down the point, because this first turn is incredible.
Massive first turn. Look at this. Right in the lip. Goes upside down. And this one really lined up. This is a beautiful wave selection here. Goes so far. He's out of the camera range. And, yeah, paired with his other 6, I think he might launch himself into that next semi.
3 seconds to go. We're waiting on scores. This has been a huge finale to a pretty, not a slow heat. The surfing was really good, but not a lot of waves. Just so you folks at home know, if you're watching, the judges have no visual impairments, so they can see Joe's ride all the way down the point. So our cameraman blocked, but the judges have full view of this entire lineup, so they'll be looking at Joe's wave intently, and it's on a knife edge this heat. Hard to say. I think Joe's last backside Rio was pretty sweet.
And that's a score. Is that the 767?
Wow, they have ramped it up for Joe Azuchi's backside vert. The big Nuna gets him the score that he needs. And Eli, unfortunately, he's been on a tear throughout this event. And it looks like he may have just missed out on a place in the semis. Joe Azuchi, Japan, are you kidding me? They just keep turning up. A great roll here. So we will take a quick breather and be back with more action from the World Junior Championships here at the Taiwan Open of Surfing. Joe Azuchi.
They don't feel like working. Overthinking, I don't mean to let the pain and hurting. I was main stage with Tiny at a festival. Reality's a just less than 24 hours past and I'm back to working. The wage isn't minimum, but when you know your worth is more, you make your own curriculum. Study in the industry, I know you see me killing them. Nice, it felt so real, I had some moments I was living them. Celebrity, civilian, walk amongst the greats that you ignore. The ones relentlessly pursuing every key to every door. It's evergreen and evermore if you're content with living normally. I'm handing in my notice to the world on record formally. I know this life is right for me. I know the future's bright for me. I know my teeth.
There he is, the winner of the last heat, Joe Azuchi, pulling out a buzzer beater. A minute to go, he was pushed down into second, and now he is into the semi-finals of the World Junior Championships, defeating South Africa's Eli Bukes there. Welcome back to the Taiwan Open of Surfing. This is World Junior Championships quarterfinals. And out there right now, Jet Schilling of the USA up against Lucas Vicente from Brazil. And joining me in the box, JJ Jenkins. G'day, Johnny.
Thanks, Blacko. Good to be here. What an amazing...
It is John, isn't it? I never remember that. Jonathan. JJ. Anyway, Fawn Blakey here as well. Quarterfinal action has been, as you'd expect, pretty much in sync with every other heat we've seen in this event. You know, we'll have, 4 or 5 in a row where there's just so much surfing going on, so many waves, so much action. And then just a heat where there isn't a whole lot of opportunity. Jet Schilling on a roll in from way out the back. I'm talking miles out to sea. But yeah, that one was a slower heat, JJ, just in terms of the amount of waves we saw ridden. But Joe Azuchi just continues to surprise, man. He's basically just got the tool belt on. He just knuckles down, gets to work.
Yeah, I'm super impressed. I mean, it's familiar territory for him. I mean, we've talked about how he's made the final, and that was 2 years ago. So had 3 appearances at least at this level, this event, and probably his last shot at a title. So he really backs himself, doesn't he? He doesn't look like he gets too rattled. Doesn't give away too much. We had a couple of attempts at chatting to him, and even in fluent Japanese. He's a man of few words. But maybe that could be his persona, his image, his personality. You know, you get your heroes, your villains, you get your thinkers, you get your dummy spit kind of guys who get angry and show their emotion. And maybe Joe's just going to just cut a path up through professional surfing with this like zombie stare. And
yeah, he's like Nicolas Cage in Con Air. Man of few words, but of major action.
Tie a yellow ribbon around the old oak tree because this big guy's coming home.
Here we go. It is Lucas here. And off he goes. 2 goofs in this heat and long goofs. So I love the... watching a lot of Jet Schilling over the last couple of years. He's got that kind of young, stringy Owen Wright, Jacob Wilcox kind of vibe, you know, just before you start really beefing up. They're these wiry, long, extending, high-voltage surfers.
yeah, there's real maturity about jet surfing, isn't there? There's something about it, and sometimes, I don't know, it's kind of hard to put into words in a way. But
bit of a board swap going on here too, maybe.
Oh, yeah, from Lucas. Wow. Oh, no, he's just doing the runaround. So, yeah, there's something about Jets. I reckon you could say he's got that X factor. You know, you just look at someone and you go, yeah, he's got it. And there might be someone else who surfs better or does bigger airs or something, but it's just seems like he's kind of got the whole package. And you mentioned comparing his style and technique. I was remember the Freshwater Pro. This is Lucas here watching the replay of this one. I watched him. He reminded me of Gabriel, like the timing and the pumps, like the kind of like double pump setups and the wraps through the turns and the way he used his arms and stuff. Really reminded me of Gabby, which is, you know, it's not a bad comparison.
Well, Joel Parkinson calls Gabriel Medina the most talented guy he's ever seen step on a surfboard.
Really?
Yep.
I've never heard that one from Joel.
Yep, he said it a few times on various media platforms, but I mean, coming from the basically, you know, the alpha lord of style, for a guy like him to say that he's never seen anyone better moving across water on a surfboard is a pretty wild statement. So yeah, I'll cop a Gabby comparison if you want to throw one at me too. I'll take it, mate. Okay, so why don't we go down now to Maine Kinamaka, who is with Joe Azuchi. Comparisons to Nicolas Cage fair? Let's find out.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much. I'm here with Joe Azuchi, the winner of our last heat and our 2017 runner-up. Joe, congratulations. That was amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And it's been a real treat watching you here. You had that 7.67 to clinch the heat at the end. We're looking forward to seeing you move on into that semifinal. Is there anything that you want to say to family or friends back home in Japan?
Yeah, wave were difficult, but last wave so happy. Yeah.
Amazing. And going into the semifinal, what would it mean to make the final again?
Next, win final going. Yeah.
And if you want to say anything in Japanese, go ahead as well.
次も絶対勝って優勝するんで応援よろしくお願いします。
Thank you so much, Joe. All right, you guys, back to the action.
いいですね. It is good. Joe Azuchi continues. What's been a very good event for Japan so far. Pretty sure we've got 2 surfers in the women's junior semi-finals, right, from Japan?
I'm just loving those awkward silences in the middle of the questions there. It's so good. It's classic. I love it.
It was pretty classic. We were watching Jet Schilling. Here he goes. Nice looking left down. Oh, that looks like G-Land. Where did this thing come from? Throws up a first Rio. Right. They're hard to do, those things, man. Right up on top of the pocket. The board swings around, but the wave... Oh, it stayed steep for an age, but he was just sort of racing to keep up with it. Did get the one turn in. Looks like Lucas Vicente has a couple of good scores on the board too. Look at this thing.
Yeah, you mentioned Vorno climb up into the pocket there. That was pretty clean, wasn't it? Easy to get stuck on those turns.
Gets the carve in to wrap that one out.
I've got a comparison with Medina for you.
Go.
You both go to lots of surf events.
Oh, thanks, man. I will cop it. Lucas Vicente, here he goes. A 4.83 and a 4.37. So he has got a couple under the belt. And I often find that when you... What's this, Alex? Cleland just getting a bit of treatment here. Do you reckon he's just tickling him going, is that ticklish? Is that ticklish? Does that make you laugh?
See?
Round around the garden like a teddy bear. Hopefully he hasn't done anything too bad. He's been one of the favourites, really, around the event site during the week. Surfed in the QS, surfed in the juniors, and unfortunate not to get through in this one, but bit of a live wire and a heat. But Vicente's got a classic Brazilian style, hasn't he? Lots of passion in his surfing. You can see that when he comes off the top, he's not happy to just do the standard Rio. He really wants to pull the board all the way around. So much hunger. The Brazilian Storm, it just keeps on coming.
Yeah, they just keep delivering out of that zone. And I bet you he's got a lot of the boys watching him today, especially with the comps off in Hawaii because of Thanksgiving and stuff, and the whole Brazilian crew will be getting behind their up-and-comer here. So that Florianopolis region has produced some big names, and he's the latest out of that Jaquina area. And Gabriel won this event back in 2013, I think it was, with Lucas's kind of home zone there. He's probably, 12 or 13 himself. I wonder if he was down there watching. I bet he was. Here he is. Lucas now off the bottom. Big bowling right. Hammers it, but just buries the nose a bit too much. I want to give a shout out to Adriano de Souza, the first Brazilian pipeline master, second Brazilian world champ. Gabby sort of pipped him for that honour, but love Susie. What a competitor. What an animal. A survivor. Still there, back on tour, hopefully at the end of the year, and won this event at age 16 at Narrabeen. Won this event at age 16 as well. So Brazilians have done well here. I think Pablo Paulinho, he won it a couple of times, didn't he? Yeah, was it Pedro Henrique, he's an amazing kiteboarder now. I think he's a world champ kiteboarder, something like that. Oh, wow. Yeah, he's amazing. Something really good. Yeah, it's been hard to rip the trophy away from the Brazilians in all forms of surfing. It's been, here we go, down the beach, Jet Schilling. He wants to work these lefts over. First turn, beautiful technique, out of the top again, up, tight into the pocket. He loses that one. He was on his way to a big score too. That's going to be frustrating because, as we've said before, as soon as you elect to go left, you're doing twice as much paddling as your competitor if they're on the rights. It seems like they're getting out there really fast though. Like he's had three waves right now. I think it's just very hard to get back. You can get out the back, but it's hard to come back up to the north. And well, he's making these rough, kind of sloppy faces look pretty smooth. But he's picking off lefts that are so steep. I haven't seen anything stand up like this all morning long. So they're there. He just needs to find some way to stick to them. So Lucas Vicente at the moment still in the lead. Just pocket fours. Jet Schilling really just burst onto the scene last year, didn't he? I mean, there'd been little snippets here and there. I remember a clip of him hanging out with Mick Fanning, and then next thing he turned up at the Stab High Wave Pool event. And then he's in that Freshwater Pro. Freshwater Pro. With a couple of young guys. Cade was in that too, I think. Yeah, you're right. So he's really just sort of elevated himself in the last 12 months, profile-wise. Yeah, and he's so confident, such a kind of mature kind of repertoire and approach, and he's cheeky, but he backs himself. He's not ignorant either, you know. He's not too. He's pretty humble, but he's having a good time, which is nice to see. A lot of these crew just kind of like shy away a little bit and try and you see they're trying to work themselves out and trying to work out the whole scene and dealing with winning heats and, you know, probably pretty self-conscious when they're doing interviews and stuff like that. But he seems pretty straight up. Nice. Little Tommy Carroll kind of little gremlin running around, eh? Yeah, he's a good observation, man. I mean, so many of these guys, you know, everyone's coming from different walks of life, different situations at home and whatnot, but mostly around this event, one thing I have noticed is that there's a lot of support for competitors across the board. So guys are quite happy to cheer on
any good surfing that they see, regardless. There's a lot of camaraderie around the competitors area. Have you seen that? There's a lot of mucking around, and
I reckon the patriotism's just really just fading away. It's really, don't you think?
well,
Like,
it's
there's none of
there,
that-
but it's healthy. It doesn't seem quite as nasty as it has been in the past. You know, I guess in the past, where you were from also got attached to a style of surfing.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like you were always like, oh, this guy's from here, and so he's obviously a small wave guy, or they're powerless. That's sort of gone now. So maybe that just takes that sting, that meanness, that generalisation out of it. But there's a lot of good vibes around this event, which is pretty cool to see, considering that it is a WSL world title on the line.
Yeah, and that is that respect is super healthy. You're right. I guess you can't do this much travelling these days and be an a-hole, can you? Because you can't have enemies everywhere you go. You got to be a good guy because everyone takes turns. They travel together. They're swapping homes. They're swapping breaks. You know, the days where you paddle out in Hawaii and there's spots like V-Lane, you just couldn't even walk down the beach if you were white. But now, you know,
Where was that, mate? Where
Velzy Land. Remember how protected that was? That used to be like the
Did you
forbidden
just
zone.
say that out loud, bro?
So, but yeah, you're right. It's healthy respect, and it's awesome to see.
Yeah, but Jet is, as you say, he's very confident moving around in those circles.
He's like, can we call him Little Tommy? He's kind of freckly. He's kind of shorter than the other guys. He's little.
Well, he's nowhere near as stocky. Tom Carroll looked like a sock full of walnuts walking around a contest site.
Still does.
And Jet looks more like...
So, like a little whippet.
Just
Lucas.
a wet noodle. Here goes Lucas now. He's found one of these standing lefts. And this one, it's a little slower, not quite as steep. Oh, here's a section for him. He bangs that one. So it's been a good ride. Solid ride. Links it right through together and gets a good, strong finish. No, he's slipped. Oh, everything just felt a tiny bit off there. If I'm going to be critical, JJ, it looked like it was going to offer a lot more than it did. So he had to put in a lot more work. Still a good ride, though. I think it'll probably be the best ride of the heat.
They look so good when they drop into them, don't they? Nice wall down here.
That was nice. Good first turn.
Yeah, especially with a few bumps and pretty slopey looking section. That one again, you can see this is where the timing might have gone out of a tiny bit. And if you got this
harsh,
if you got this finish, I reckon he had a really good score, but he didn't. Something happened behind that banner. Whoa! Look out! Oh, he's come off as well.
What is going on out here?
Wide open this heat because of the errors, the mistakes.
I think Lucas is going to be looking at a good score, mate. Like I was being way too critical of that ride. Looking back on it, 2 big calves and then a nice vertical punch. Didn't get the finish. I think it'll probably nudge 6s. Here goes Jet. He looks so sparky off the bottom, doesn't he? I mean, there's so much electricity in the way that his board's moving. But something's going on with the execution here.
This place reminds me of kind of a high tide Lakey Peak.
Oh, how many more similarities can we heap on Taiwan? This is crazy.
Buffera, New Zealand, Hawaii, Lakey Peak.
It reminds me a little bit of Chad.
Yeah.
Just North African.
Remember that time we went up to Iceland? You know, we did that trip up there? So
Yeah.
similar. The way there's water and mountains.
So Lucas Vicente's got a little bit of luck on his side here too, just because he's had a couple of good waves. But Jet Schilling is just finding it very tricky to stay on his board. Plenty of time left, 12 minutes. Luke's just it's his second run around. Oh, he's on the HBs. Hot buttered. That's Terry Fitzgerald's company.
No. I asked him that question actually because I said I did go home. He heard he used to ride that brand. He goes, yeah, but you're thinking of hot buttered in Australia. He goes, that's a sunglass label.
Oh, good pickup. Thanks for correcting me on that because I was just about to go into a big spiel about how much of a legend TF is.
Oh, you can still do that. It still stands. But no, that's his sunglass sponsor. Was Go Home sponsored by Hot Buttered, or is that
I think
sponsored by that crew?
I think Guy Herm was definitely sponsored by HB for a little bit.
And Poto?
Poto for sure.
Dano?
No, he was on the Energies. He was Simon.
Oh, that's right.
He was a Simon guy.
So who's the HB team?
Hot butted had, well, the Fitzies, obviously, Joel and Kai. Luke Hitchings was on them for a while.
That's right.
Nathan Webster, he was a big HB guy.
He won the Pro Junior, actually. He won this event back in its heyday. Held the cup up.
Poto, Craig Holly.
Oh, there you go. Remember that video?
Wayne Dean, the great
Dean.
Wayne Dean, late great. And, yeah, they had a great team. Fantastic surfers. Always a little left to centre too, the hot butted crew.
Yeah. DNA was there, wasn't it, for that kind of behaviour? Joel Fitz.
Arthur, legend. Absolutely love him. He's a fine shaper himself.
You know who won this event last year? Mateus Hurdy. So representing this region. So he'll be watching right now. Reigning champion, but no, not young enough to defend it. Put in a great performance at Kiama the year before. He was my pick back then, but he kind of went out early. But good to see him win last year. I reckon he's destined for CT for sure.
I heard you saying earlier, like, a win in this event almost guarantees you kind of like a 3-year stay, no matter what you want to do with yourself. It's got a power to it that kind of lasts well into your mid-20s. Yep. I really thought that was a cool observation, mate, because the honour roll on this thing has split into so many different directions in surfing. Some guys have gone on to win the big ones, the world titles, and other guys have sort of cruised off into other areas, but always that title next to your name is no small thing. A world title, a WSL sanctioned world title. That's as good as it gets.
Yeah, and yeah, you're totally right.
I was just repeating what you said. Is that why you said I was totally right?
You are one smart cookie. Your observations, there's depth
I
to
made
those.
this incredible observation about something that you said. 9 minutes remaining. So what's going on here? Okay, so Lucas, a 5.33. So the judges, they were a little critical of it. I second-guessed myself and gave him a few extra points, but if I was going to be real about it, I would have said that a 5.33 is probably what it would have dropped first time around. A 4.83 backing that up. Jet Schilling, a 4.5 and a 3.83. The only thing that's really stopping Jet from winning this heat, or leading this heat, I should say, is the fact that he just keeps on slipping, mate.
Well, you know, Lucas fell off. Strange that Lucas fell off on that last turn because they're reasonably safe moves, as spectacular as they look. But anyway, he did. Let's go into the wind now, Vorno. Backhand air rev. We talked about the scoring potential in those rights. Definitely the advantage has been with the natural footers. But who was saying, was it Stace was watching and he said he couldn't believe crew aren't hitting it every time?
He was saying that. I think he was saying that to Binsey.
Yeah, that's it. You got it. Yeah. It's strange, isn't it?
But I think, well, here's the thing. 8 minutes remaining. Jet Schilling's easily had the two best waves that have come in this heat. Slipped on one of them. And if he goes left again, in the back of his brain, he'll be thinking, okay, that's another 4 minutes gone. Because I think you've just got to be able to, you have to paddle out with that in your brain. If you're just thinking you're going to catch a left and whip back out and get another one,
well, he might be going
it's
right.
It's not going to play like that. We saw a heat earlier with Coley Vast and Lucas Bacret.
Justin
Bacret, sorry. And, yeah, I mean, only a few waves surfed. Lots of frustration out there. But Justin had fully planned his paddle out into his heat strategy. So he knew he wanted to go left, but he also knew that he only had limited chances. And
I guess the other thing...
It's a good thing to know that that's part of your strategy, because then you're not going to get rattled when you're just duck diving and taking a long, long time to get back out.
The other thing Jet or any surfer in his position will feel, though, is that just that disappointment where you know you had so much more to give, you got so much more to show, and a couple of those kind of weird slips or mistimed Rios or something, you just feel like you were there. You couldn't give it your all, and that makes the loss a bit harder than when it's, you know, you've given everything. You knew you couldn't give it, you know, couldn't have surfed better. You didn't make any mistakes. The other guy might have pipped you just by a point or so, and then you go, oh well, you know, I can live with that and next time. But when you know you got more in the tank,
I can't help but feel like this is an insight into your head more than it is into Jet's.
Well,
I just lie there at night thinking about things I could have done better and wigging out.
That's true.
No, you're absolutely spot on. It takes a pretty steely nerve to be able to just wash off a mistake. Like, whenever I'm watching other sports, one of my favourite things is watching guys who don't get rattled by a bad move or a bad call or a mistake. It's one of my favourite things in sport, especially in things like footy, where you're in a team where you've got not just your own head noise, but all the rest of the team you've let down by a bad decision or whatever.
Or what about a 5-hour tennis match or something?
You just cannot sweat on those one moments, because otherwise one turns into 3 or 4 and then it's door closed, you're out. So I want to see what Jet's made of here. 5 minutes 40 seconds remaining.
Well, Lucas
well, he's also staying busy, which is probably a good call too. You don't want to be sitting out there in that wind too long. This one's a little grovelly, but he's working his way through to the inside. Winding up for something big. He throws up the big air rev and he lands it. And look at that body language. You know what? I'm going to say that was...
It's pretty clean.
Well, I'm going to say that claim was appropriate. Because if you'd thrown the arms up, I would have said, "Ooh, is it that much better than a chop hop?" Don't know, but
it's like
give the judges a little bit of stink eye. Just let them know that, you threw something else into the mix.
This is what Gabby did to win back at Santa Arena. Exactly like this. Exact same conditions, exact same turns. Of course, not everyone in the draw was doing what Gabby was then. Look at him. See the stance go wide, stays high, pops it nice and clean. And the the stare off.
So
smallish wave.
Couple of what do you call those things? Just sort of fat backs. They weren't quite fat backs. They were kind of just positional calves,
waiting for it.
But I will say this: the little backside air rev, it was very clean and a nice cushy landing. Not the highest air, but got the nod from the judges big time. Look at that, a 6.17 and a 5.33. So he's finally put a little bit of distance between himself and Jet Schilling. Priority switching to the surfer in black. The American now needing a 7 to advance.
How about...
I think that it's good judging there. I really think that, throwing something different into the mix after we've seen him... carve and slice and do a few lip slams.
So Jet, he's good too. He's real good in the air. So a good way for him, like maybe an outside turn and then a similar move, and he'll get a higher score than that, a 7. Lucas swings on the inside, jam in the pocket, big spray with that wind. Up again, quick combo there. And there's a claim for sure on that little one. And I think that felt good. So... Jet might have to do a little more than a 7. The same.
Replacing a 5.33, definitely did that, 100%. The first turn was a hammer. Put heaps and heaps of pressure on the back foot through a rooster of spray. Let's have a look at this thing. It was an insider. It was nice and steep too. So Lucas staying busy. Hammers that. Gets the big finish as well. Yeah, that felt good. And I'm definitely going to say that the little backside air rev, the nice make on that, the cushy landing, the confidence behind it, it just freed him up a little bit there, and that surfing looked much more open, didn't it? But out the back, it's not over yet. Jet Schilling, 2.5 minutes. He's got a huge wave here. He needs this thing to stand up. He's going to fly down the line. Banks it first, up and over, and he slipped again. What is going on? This is so uncharacteristic. Lumpy.
Well, Lucas has called it. That is rare. 2 minutes to go. He could definitely get back out there. He's super cash, isn't he, in this heat? Walking around, coming in early. And, Jet Schilling.
He did three walk-arounds, right?
Yeah, slowly. Didn't even run.
Conserving energy.
Jet's still got a good chance here.
Well, at 8.5, he's had... one thing he's definitely had in this heat is the set magnet. There's only been a few big waves. He's been on every single one of them. But he has got to put something together here. He's got the talent. Minute 40 on the clock. Plenty of lines of swell out there.
Can he back himself? He's fallen, 3 in a row? 4 in a row, maybe.
Oh, yeah. He's had a shock and run with these first, second turns.
Well, whatever happens here, Vorno, you know this guy's a class act.
Oh, for sure. There's no reflection of poor tactics or anything like that. It's just been one of those slippery heats. A few warbles in the wave. One minute remaining. Is anything going to turn up for Jess Schilling? Is the set magnet going to kick into gear one last time?
Maybe it's time to go right. Just hook it. One big hook and then bam, helicopter. It'll be a grandstand finish. Be exciting.
There's been a couple today, mate.
Yeah, there's been 7s and 8s in the last couple of minutes of a lot of heats.
Joe Azuchi, he plucked it back in the quarterfinal just before this one, the Japanese surfer. A minute to go, they didn't even read out the score and he was already on the hunt. I think he must have heard the crowd go up for Eli and he was just like, yep, all right.
Mitch Parkinson in the QS 3000, similar conditions all week. He made the final doing that. He had 2 heats where he nailed it in the last wave.
20 seconds. Is this a lump of swell? It looks like Jet Schilling trying to find himself in position here. It's going to be a body takeoff. Oh, this thing is a fizzer. And he waves goodbye to that one, in a friendly manner. Unfortunate stuff here for Jet Schilling.
Yeah, that's a real bummer.
I don't know if you can really sum that up in any other way than saying it was just a bit of a shocker. He just couldn't stick to his board. So there you have it, quarterfinal.
Don't do it now.
Quarterfinal, number 4 in the bag, and it looks like Lucas, the Brazilian, moving through over Jet Schilling. We'll be back with more action from the Taiwan Open of Surfing World Junior Championships in just a minute.
They don't feel like working. Overthinking, I don't mean to let the pain and hurting. I was main stage with Tiny at a festival. Reality's a just less than 24 hours past and I'm back to working. The wage isn't minimum, but when you know your worth is more, you make your own curriculum. Study in the industry, I know you see me killing them. Nice, it felt so real, I had some moments I was living them. Celebrity, civilian, walk amongst the breaks that you ignore. The ones relentlessly pursuing every key to every door. It's evergreen and evermore if you're content with living normally. I'm handing in my notice to the world on record formally. I know this life is right for me. I know the future's bright for me. I know my teacher.
Welcome back to Jinzun Harbour, Taiwan Open of Surfing. And we have just seen the men's quarterfinals wrap up. Lucas Vicente taking the win over Jet Schilling in the last heat. Now Amuro Suzuki up against Gabriella Bryan, Japanese surfer versus the Hawaiian, and 2 very polished performers in their quarterfinals. And now it's quarterfinals time. Chris Binns here alongside John Jenkins. JJ, what have you made of the action so far?
Love it. Amazing. Some, a couple of little upsets, but overall some really, really close heats. And yeah, it's a great location and a really important couple of titles on the line. And just as we expect, some amazing surfing.
Yeah, so we're down to the semi-finals. That's an hour of surfing either side of the draw, and then the finals another hour all up. So there's a chance we could be done by 4 o'clock this afternoon. Looks like we're going to press on with competition. So let's go down and have a chat with the winner of the last heat, Lucas Vicente, who is talking to our very own Vaughan Blakey. Fauno, have you got us? Alright, sounds like we've got... Oh, it doesn't sound like much at all. So hopefully we can regather and catch up with Vaughan and Lucas. Alright, they're back. Vaughan Blakey, winner of the last heat, Lucas Vicente. Let's have a chat.
Yeah, thanks very much, Binzi. I'm here with Lucas, and mate, cruisy heat. You were just taking your time out there, really seemed quite calm and focused on your own game. Was that part of the plan, just to do a couple of walk-arounds and conserve a bit of energy?
Yeah, for sure. It's really strong out there, a lot of waves, so it's easy to get tired out there. So it's good sometimes to keep some energy and keep the rhythm going. And yeah, first I tried to get those rides, and then wasn't that good, and I saw Jack going on the left, and before my heat, everyone was surfing the left, so I decided to go there too. And yeah, I'm really happy. My board's feeling good. Before this heat, I was using another fin, and I thought my board was too small, and then I changed the fins, and it's really good right now.
Fantastic, mate. Well, saw you do a nice full rotation backside air rev out there, but also the power surfing. What's the go? Do you paddle out thinking, okay, I'm going to take to the air, or how do you approach conditions like this? Because it's super blustery.
I mean, I'm used to surf, to do airs at home. The wind is just like that, so I'm used to do airs in the backside. And I've been using my power surf since I was a kid, so I'm really comfortable in those style of surfing. So if the waves come and it's really good for power surf, I will go, and if it's for the air, I'll try it.
Mate, you've probably got the entire nation of Brazil watching you, because there's a lot of energy around Brazilian surfing right now, obviously with 3 guys in contention for the world title. Do you have a pick? Do you have a favourite, or you don't mind?
I mean, I really like those guys, but for me, Ítalo is my favorite. He's a really good guy with me, and I also like Adriano. He surfs all the time with me. So I really want Ítalo to win.
Fantastic, mate. Well, look, I'm sure all the boys are behind you as well as the World Junior Championships continue. Congratulations on making the semi-finals, and best of luck, mate.
Thank you so much.
And go Susie! Love Susie.
Cheers, Vaughan. Yep, very happy winner of the last heat, Vincent Vicente.
Yeah, it's I was saying in that heat when he did that air rev, it was exactly the same kind of conditions where Gabriel went nuts at his home break back in 2013, and the boys will be watching. They'll be pretty stoked if Ítalo or Gabby gets it, and then he wins another 2 heats. Is it going to be the Brazilian flag flying? We've got probably the longboard world title as well.
Yep. Well,
So,
could it be a Brazilian back-to-back here at Jinzun Harbour? Of course, this time last year, Mateus Herdy was the hottest junior surfer in the world. He just comes second at the Hawaiian Pro at Haleiwa. Bombed out early at sunset, jumped on the jet, got over here and won a world junior title, and looked unbackable favourite all the way through that event. First score comes in for Muro Suzuki, a 5.33, so the Japanese push is staying very alive on finals day here at the World Juniors. Gabrielle O'Brien just kicking out of that wave. She has a number to come.
Yes, of course, and she's been a true standout since Heat 1 of this division on day 1, and she's been very impressive indeed. So we could be looking at the possibility of 2 men's Brazilian champs, and you never know, 2 Hawaiian female champions in the juniors and the opens. So yeah, Gabrielle Bryant, really impressed with her, Binzi.
Absolutely. All right, we just spoke to the winner of the last heat. Now let's go down and catch up with the guy who unfortunately bows out with a 5th to his name, Jet Sloan Schilling.
Yeah, thanks, Binzi. Jet, mate, bad luck out there, but what was going on? It just couldn't seem to get that board to stick to your feet.
Yeah, I definitely blew it. I had a lot of good waves, and the wind just kept coming underneath my board, and I just kept getting off balance and falling, but it's all good. I had the waves, but I blew it, so it was all me in that heat, that's for sure.
Mate, look, you've really sort of blown up over the last year. Went from being, you know, a grommet with a lot of potential to a guy who is basically on everyone's radar. How have you looked back over the last 12 months?
Honestly, I just want to say a big thanks to Mick Fanning. He's been helping me out a lot with my technique and everything I need to know, so he's been like a big help for me for sure.
And mate, what about the contest scene? Is it something that you're going to continue on with?
For sure, I hope so. I just want to go to Indo, get better. Before I start doing all the bigger QSs, I just want to get better and then do all the contests someday so I could just smoke everyone, hopefully.
Awesome, mate. Well, look, I mean, the talent is there. You can all see throughout the course of this event how good you surf, and I think that 2020 is going to be a huge year for you as well. Best of luck. Enjoy the rest of the season, and let's just hope that you never have another heat like that ever again.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
There you go, guys. Jet Chilling out of the event, but plenty more to see from him in the future.
Ready to smoke crew.
Yeah. Well, let's hope he can get over his confidence issues. I just want to get better and smoke everyone. Go to Indo, get better, smoke everyone.
It's epic, but you can tell he's kind of like half joking and having a laugh too. It's awesome.
Yeah, he's a character. And Nick Fanning, his mentor.
He's got to deal with those obesity and those weight issues as well.
I just like the fact
he
that
could probably lean up, get a little bit leaner. You think?
I just like the fact that half Vaughan's noggin was missing off the screen there, so they could fit them both into the shot. All right, this is the opening wave from Gabriella Bryan. It's a 7-point ride. It was a white watery wave, but she got out the tool belt and went to work. Banks a 7. That's a decent number. She'll be pretty happy with that one.
Yeah, absolutely. She surfed some really tidy heats. We mentioned her amazing top scores right through from day one, round one. She surfed an excellent quarter-final against a good friend, Savannah, just a couple of hours ago, and it looks like she's continuing with a very solid heats scores in the 7+ range, and emerging as another name to really keep an eye on, and got some work now for Amiri Suzuki to try and play catch up. So yeah, I've been super impressed with Gabriella. She's good. Level head. We talked about how she's pretty humble as well, and she's making it look pretty easy out here in these conditions. She's kind of really taken the Jinsun nicely.
Yeah, she sure has. She's gone from strength to strength in this event. The American and Hawaiian push is huge. I was saying earlier, of the 8 quarterfinalists, 5 of them have American passports. So the Hawaiians are qualifying through the Hawaii-Tahiti region, and the Americans are qualifying through the North American region, and 5 out of 8 quarterfinalists in the women's side of the World Juniors bearing American passports. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, Gabriella, she's you mentioned earlier, of course, she won down in Tahiti as well to book her spot in the junior team. What about if you Tahitian, can you cross over and go to France, be in the European? No, yes or no? Like Cowley and all that, they've got to be in the Hawaiian.
No, well, Cowley would have qualified through the Tahiti
so they
Hawaii region.
But then if the Papa event's got all the Hawaiian surfers in it and all the local...
Oh, you can surf in anyone's events.
Like then the points go to your region.
Yeah, okay. Lots of the Aussies surf in the Indonesian events and all that sort of business.
So Gabrielle could go to South Africa and do 5 junior events over there, and if she wins them...
They'll all just help her ranking in her region.
Thank you, Professor Binns.
Well, you think about juniors back in the day when the Australasian Pro Junior Series was just this enormous beast. I would see guys like Tamaroa McComb come over from Tahiti.
Wasn't he amazing?
He was amazing.
Pedersen
Crisanto.
Thank you for bringing that name out. He was incredible.
Pedersen Crisanto, these
He's
days
back.
flying high on the world tour.
Yeah.
I had a good chat with him in Hossegor, actually, because he's carrying a bit of an ankle injury, but every now and then he's capable of just show-stopping around. We saw him do it in Portugal, that crazy air reverse that he got like a 9.87 for. And yeah, we were talking about his days because he won the Hurley-Burley Pro Junior.
Yeah.
At the time was the richest individual junior surfing comp in the world, 25 grand.
He was getting wild cards into the Rio Pro in Brazil.
Yeah.
I thought he was gone. I swear, I thought, okay, he's had his run. The industry's gone a bit flat. Didn't have a sponsor there for a while. He had the injury, and then he's back. He clawed his way back up. And how much hunger too, and just kind of mental fortitude do you have when you have a couple of hard years like that? You drop off tour. That's used to be kind of rare. Guys would drop off and make it back, but it's a pretty common story these days. So a lot of guys drop off and find a spot back on the CT, And then they often stick around for a few years.
Yeah, there's a bit to be said for you get the occasional kind of QS grafter who just learns how to put together heats, and they might not get on young, but then they hang around for a long time. You look at guys like Dayan Neve and Kai Otten. They didn't qualify for the tour till they were sort of in their late 20s.
And Kai went straight to number 12 in the world.
Yeah, and they really made it count. That's Alyssa Spencer studying the ocean, readying herself for the next quarterfinal. She's coming up against Sarah Wakita.
Mum Mary there. Good gig, eh? Good gigs these days, the parent travelling the world. So, Gabriella Bryant, 7. What else? Pedersen Crisanto. I checked out the ratings bottleneck heading into sunset. Still so hard to tell who's who. Who's doing well. Barron Mamia's looking good. Conor O'Leary's looking good. Matt Bandy went down. That was unfortunate.
Jack Robinson is still alive, keeping the
dream
alive. He's got a chance.
Yep. Matt McGilvray. That's someone who's jumped right up. He's got a good shot. Did he make it through round 2?
Good question. I'm not sure. Let's have a look. Let's check in on the results from sunset.
What about, speaking of Alyssa Spencer, we just saw her there, finished 10th on the women's QS. She get a chance to take the top 6?
Well, the lady in the water right now, Amuro Suzuki, she's on the cusp.
She's 8th, is she?
Yes, she needs a double qualification scenario to work in her prospect. I think she's going to be Brissa Hennessy's new biggest fan, because if Brissa doesn't need her QS spot, then Amuro is in. I think that's how that one works.
Yeah, sometimes there's injury wildcards, sometimes there's sponsor wildcards. Okay, late takeoff here. Speaking of the devil, Amuro, she's be very lucky to get around this section. Look at the wind. Oh, in the face. She's no chance of making that one.
She's going for length of ride. Is she going to come into the beach again? Is this another board swap, or is she going to do a runaround?
I reckon it's the runaround. She was blind when she took off on that thing, and even when she stood up, she cleared the foam. She still couldn't see.
So we saw Amuro, as here goes Gabriella Bryan. This is a better-looking wave, so this is going to be a decisive exchange with Amuro on the beach and Gabriella banking points. 2 big turns, and that is that's a pretty heavy hit for Amuro there, I think. We saw Amuro in the last heat bust the fin out. Or is this going to be a runaround for Gabriella? No, she's swinging around. So this is definitely a runaround for Amuro Suzuki. We saw her in the last heat come in, and she had a fin box completely ripped out of her board. And she was fairly certain, talking to the Japanese camp, that it had just come out on a bottom turn.
Wow, power.
Now we see Gabriella Bryan giving up on the duck dive paddle effort, and she's going to do the runaround as well.
Yeah, well, she'll be feeling a little bit better than Amuro. At least she got a good score. She's already got a 7 in the bag, and she makes it look kind of easy. She just simplifies everything. She sticks to her board, clean, open face turns, places them well. She's got pretty good flow from start to finish, and she's going to head on round. So both these girls seem pretty chilled, cruising. They got plenty of time. Bit of advice on the way back around. Just probably a good chance to hear the scoring situation and from the announcers. Been working hard, screaming their lungs out the last couple of days to try and get these scores out there across you reckon like 30 knot winds.
Oh yeah.
So it does drop off every afternoon. Some of the best surfs we've seen and all event have been in the evenings after the event's finished. Some amazing free surf sessions going down. But of course some super heats as well. Semi-final 1 of the World Junior Championships. Winner here into the final. We saw the defending champ go down Binzi today. It was Kira Pinkerton. That was a disappointing loss for her, clearly. She was looking at back-to-back titles. And I reckon Gabriella's one of the ladies in the draw. Maybe with Alyssa Spencer too. I reckon that looking good to get a spot in the final.
Yeah, just looking at the sunset results, there's so many big heats coming up. Ethan Ewing still in the mix. Liam O'Brien still there. Morgan Siblick still there. Zeke Lau needs a huge result at sunset because his CT hopes are all but non-existent. Connor O'Leary's still going.
Yeah, doggy.
Jesse Mendes, Matthew McGilvray, Federico Moraes. Well, he's guaranteed, but he would love to claim the overall QS title. Jadson Andre, he's in a similar situation. Jacob Wilcox is still going. Jürgen Kuzene is still going. Carlos Munoz, Stuart Kennedy, Jack Robinson, William Cardoso. He would be a long way back on the CT, would need something huge at sunset.
Got some situations there with the chicks. Is anyone on danger of dropping off there? Bronte McCauley's looking safe to get on. Macy Callanan secured her berth back in.
Well, Macy's won the QS.
Malia Manuel, how's she going? She's pretty solid, hey? Top 10?
She's fine.
Yep.
Sage and Bronte are
back on.
Back on.
Steph's around 5th out of the world title race, but obviously no stress there for her. And, well, they got out the back quick here. Smart move to paddle up to the channel.
Wasn't it? But look at the difference in that exchange. Muro Suzuki, late drop, couldn't get her anywhere, so she straightened out, headed to the beach with 0.5 to her name. Gabrielle O'Brien, wave behind, 2 quick turns, a 6.7, so a pretty decisive exchange, that one, I think. Only 10 minutes to go, and Muro is going to need a pretty serious change of fortune to keep going in this one. At the moment, she needs an 8.37.
Yep, well, she's out the back.
There's a windsurfer out the back.
Oh, yeah, there's
Makes sense.
There's a few of them. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them. They're loving it out there. So, Suzuki in position, priority. Plenty of time here. She's got to put it together. She'll come in from the northern side here, so she can just use that current to drift into position. If I was her, I'd be waiting till I see some sets and then paddle across. Otherwise, you end up just having to clamber your way back and end up fighting the current. So, Gardner girl, Gabrielle Bryant, should be doing the crew from Kauai proud, the Hawaii fans. Watching online today. She's missing out on Thanksgiving over there, but she could be having the best day of her life here if she can get through the semi and get into the final. She'll have plenty to give thanks for then. So let's get a look at this here. Where are our ladies? Hard to see if any sets are coming through. And look at the arms. It looks like she's getting a little bit tired. So 9 minutes to go. And I guess in situations like this, you'd have to consider a lots of time in Hawaii. This is the kind of conditions that she'd be very, very used to.
Yeah, a lot of wind.
A bit closer to Hawaii than Japan over here, isn't it? With regards to the power of the waves and this kind of swell, and it's pretty serious stuff out there today. Seen some big sets this morning.
Yeah, really solid. We heard Sarah Wakita before admit that a little bit scared.
Was she scared?
Sets, yeah.
That's funny coming from her. So
I just like the honesty. That's fantastic.
Me too. Yeah, Kira Pinkerton had a heat where she got dragged over the falls and copped a bit of water down the gob, and she was a bit rattled when she came in. That was on not today. So good battles here, as well as a bit of a battle against nature, the elements. Here we go, Gabrielle. She's found something and she wants this one. Looks a bit chubby, a bit fat. She can't get into it. Maybe behind. Yeah, you can see why she wanted that one, peeling off.
So 7 minutes 20 to go. Muro Suzuki has a 5.33. She wouldn't be happy with that as a backup, let alone as her top score. An 8.37 the requirement to advance. Gabrielle O'Brien, her two waves are a lot closer, a 7 and a 6.7. She'd love to put something up into the excellent range and really shore this contest up, but definitely with 1 foot in the final at the moment. Alyssa Spencer and Sarah Wakita will be making their way out shortly in the second semi-final. We're going to roll on into the men's semis.
Could have an all-Japanese final, couldn't we?
We could, but Amuro Suzuki needs to get moving. 6.5 minutes to go, and just the one very middling wave from Amuro so far.
Here we go, a bit of action, we hope. This looks like a couple of bigger waves marching in. I'm a bit concerned. I think maybe Amuro's already might have drifted down a little. I think Gabrielle might be in a better spot here. Look where red is. Suzuki, she's right in the middle of the peak there. She's going to cop this one, and maybe Gabriella just maybe a little bit deep. That could have been a good wave. That was similar to what she scored. Just
are they going to cop the one behind it?
Yeah. Well, Suzuki's gone.
Gabriella sneaking under that one, and I think we've lost Amuro Suzuki. So the competitor in red is going to very much be caught in the washing machine.
She's just disappeared. It's classic. I had Maine in here before, and I said, how big is it? Come on, you're Hawaiian. Give me the read on it. It says it's solid 6 foot. She goes, maybe 5. Get it all the time. West Australians are like that too.
All right, there's Amuro. Desperately trying to get back into position. She still has priority. Of course, you don't lose priority if you get washed out of the line. You can have your priority suspended.
Yeah, I don't know about that rule. Have you seen that be effective or just confusing?
I think it's...
is it fair?
It's very fair when you've got more than 2 people in a heat. It doesn't really affect a 2-man heat.
So you've got a 4 Homo sapien heat out at sunset. Red and
white are out the back.
They've got
clean-up set comes through.
They get washed through. The other
First
two...
and second get washed into the beach.
And then if I catch one, is red allowed to swing on the bowl and drop in on me and I've got to pull out?
No, because red's nowhere near the takeoff zone.
Red's
caught on the inside, so their priority is suspended.
Oh, until they get back out the back.
Until they get back
gotcha.
to the takeoff zone.
And then you go back down the chain.
Yeah.
Red gets back out the back, they go back to first.
Correct.
Interesting. You've got to make sure the priority judge is right onto that, wouldn't you? It could be confusing.
Yep. But if you've got, 2 people in the water, doesn't really matter, because if you can take off on a wave, you take off on a wave.
Okay.
If someone's got their priority suspended, it means they're not in the takeoff area anyway.
So Amuro, she can't swing if Gabrielle goes racing past her and take off.
Well, it hasn't been suspended, has it? She's still got first priority.
Okay, I get it.
3.5 minutes to go, but she doesn't. Priority's pretty irrelevant at this stage. She needs a second score, and she needs it to be an excellent one. 8.37 the requirement to make the final. 3 minutes 20 to go. Gabriella Bryan should be feeling pretty confident right about now.
Yeah, I reckon Team Bryan is starting to feel real good about this. This could be a spot in the final, and Team Suzuki is like going, come on, come on, come on. So the minutes and the seconds go so slow when you're in the lead in these situations, and they seem to race by when you're the one playing catch-up. So the Hawaiian crew, the Kauai, the Garden Isle, this is starting to look good for young Gabrielle. We love the performances here. Okay, we've got some green water in front of Amuri, so she's getting out close to the outside again, so she's getting back into scoring range. She's going to find something, hopefully. And it's got to be a real good wave. I seriously don't think there's any chance now she can get 2, so it's going to have to be an excellent score.
2.5 minutes to go. Gabriella Bryan, she won the ISA World Juniors just a couple of weeks ago. Can she add WSL World Juniors? Can she unify the belts?
Yeah.
To use the boxing terminology.
She's coming in hot, for sure. We've seen defending champion Kira Pinkerton go out today. So the door's open for a brand new champ here, a new name. Amura, she's having a look. She's going to go. She's pulling the trigger. With less than 2 minutes to go, she's taking off late. And this has got a wonky kind of wall. Big section here. She's got to hit it.
Oh, she throws it up.
Whoa.
Minute 40 to go. She couldn't have done much more with that wave. It didn't really look all that special on the takeoff, but talk about a critical maneuver on the end section. She really didn't hold back. It was a big, chunky, just corner that came right at her. Talk us through it, JJ.
Yeah, well, we saw it building. This is it. She knew she had to do something, last-ditch effort, and she stuck it. She's pretty stoked with that, and deservedly so. Wow. Title on the line, heat on the line. She got stuck inside for a long time. She found that bowley section. This will be really interesting. Haven't seen a move of that size requiring a score in the excellent range. I don't think everything we've seen in the last-ditch kind of dying moments of these heats has kind of been an air in the men's divisions.
Oh, wow, a 9-2-7 from nowhere. Amuro Suzuki has just dropped a hammer. Have a look at this. Really not much of a wave on the takeoff. A setup turn here. She eyed off this big section. She laid it all on the line. Risk equals reward. And a 9.27. Amuro Suzuki throws her arms up in the air, pleading with the judges. She needed to go into the excellent range, and she's gone into the 9s. Gabrielle O'Brien has priority, but time is going to run out. Boy, oh boy.
It's a lot of unhappy Hawaiians right now.
That came from nowhere.
9.5. Was that a 9.8 I saw just then? Wow, congratulations, Amuro Suzuki advancing into the final with an incredible closeout move. We were talking about Gabriella, what a performance she's put in from round one. One of the top scoring surfers every heat she surfed. She put in such a great performance. She's come off a gold medal, and now she's gone out in third place here.
Unbelievable. All right, Alyssa Spencer and Sarah Wakita are ready to go in semi-final number 2. Can Wakita somehow conjure up an all-Japanese final? Find out right after this quick break. Don't go anywhere.
They don't feel like working. Overthinking, I don't mean to let the pain and hurting. I was main stage with Tiny at a festival. Reality's a just less than 24 hours past and I'm back to working. The wage isn't minimum, but when you know your worth is more, you make your own curriculum. Study in the industry, I know you see me killing them. Nice, it felt so real, I had some moments I was living them. Celebrity, civilian, walk amongst the greats that you ignore. The ones relentlessly pursuing every key to every door. It's evergreen and evermore if you're content with living normally. I'm handing in my notice to the world on record formally. I know this life is right for me. I know the future's bright for me. I know my teacher.
Welcome back to the Taiwan Open of Surfing. Incredible finish to the first semi-final of the Women's World Junior Championships. And there it is, Amuro Suzuki. Why wouldn't she be ecstatic as she comes up the beach? Team Japan is on fire today. She needed a score, it needed to be in the excellent range, and on the strength of one huge closeout foam climb, Amuro Suzuki drops a 9.27 and snatches that heat. She was lost at sea for about 14 and a half of the last 15 minutes. And then from nowhere, a little lump popped up. She skated over a dead section and just blasted the closeout. Maine Kinemaka, what did you think of that?
That was a huge upset. Gabriella has been so consistent this entire event. That was going to be a really exciting heat from the start, but wow, that was an insane score, and she's got to be so happy to be moving on to this final.
She'll be thrilled. She hasn't had it easy today. She broke a fin out in her quarterfinal. Had to come in, swap her board. She did a run around after not catching any form of wave, like a little 0.5 that she straightened out in, had to come in, hit the beach, did the run around, paddled out through the channel. Looked like she was lost at sea. She had priority, but was nowhere near the takeoff for the last dozen minutes of that heat. And then with time all but expired, a little lump popped up right in front of her. She took off. I think even on the call we said, well, this isn't going to be much. And then all of a sudden it stood up. And you've got to give massive respect to Muro Suzuki for attacking that section. Would have been pretty easy at that stage to say, right, well, that's my heat over, and straighten out and make it into the beach. But instead, she laid on the line and was rewarded with a massive score, a 9.27, a 14.6 total. She wins by 0.9 of a point. Gabriella Bryan, she didn't really do anything wrong. She caught two waves. One was a 7, one was a 6.7. And the rest of the time, she just sort of sat there happily in the lead. And unfortunately, maybe, I honestly don't know what she could have done differently, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. She's going to go home disappointed, but she did do everything she could.
The lady of the moment is Amuro Suzuki, and she is down with JJ for a quick chat.
Yeah, very delighted, of course. A huge round of applause from all the crew up here supporting you. Congratulations, that was amazing.
Thank you.
And did you think you were going to get such a high score for that big manoeuvre?
Yeah, I'm surprised my score 9 point, but I couldn't get 9 point wave. Yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah. And the claim as well, pretty excited?
Yeah, exciting.
And now you've got another Japanese friend, a competitor out here. It could be a Japanese world title today for you or her.
Yeah, I'm just myself. Just surf.
Just surf, just be yourself.
Yeah.
All right, well, we love watching it. That was such an exciting finish, and you don't have long, so we wish you luck.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's all right, I'm saying nice things. Good luck and well done.
Thank you.
Awesome, guys. How good is that? Japanese surfer into the final. Amuro Suzuki, what a performance.
You beauty. Yeah, that was sensational. And I'm glad that she's finally stopped saying she got lucky, because that was nothing lucky about that one. She really had to lay it all on the line. And risk equals reward. She picks up a 9.27 and the win. So one spot booked in the final already. Second spot is up for grabs. Connection she would have liked. And that's going to be a minor score. And she's kind of in that funky zone right now where you don't know whether to hit the beach and do a run around or try head south and see if you can get out into some cleaner water and paddle around the left. Here goes Alyssa Spencer on her backhand. Driving hard off the bottom. That was a nice hook. She's going to stick with this. Some S-turns through the inside. This wave not cooperating so far. Can she get over this ridge? She's going to bank it and go left. She's pretty much on the beach right now. Big crack. And one last turn. And, well, she's gone right. She's gone left. Now she's going straight. She's about to run out of water. I've got a feeling we might see Alyssa Spencer hit the beach, head north, and do a run around, paddle out through the safety of the bay. And now Sarah Wakita is looking like she's going to do the same as well. So it's not easy going out there, Moine.
No, definitely not. I just came into the booth and sitting on top of the scaffolding. When the sets come through, they're stretching all the way across the harbor. The size is deceptive on our screens here. Our surfers are dealing with current and they're dealing with really hefty waves. So here on the screen, Spencer, it looks like they've got the same idea. Very smart on Sarah Wakita, conserving that energy, especially if one of these surfers are going to go into the final.
Wow,
that's a really
she's
quick
so
turnaround.
far down the beach. And if you don't think that Alyssa Spencer is running that fast, it is a really tricky surface to get across quickly. It's not sand. It's sort of medium-sized pebbles. It's like running on marbles. It's you can moonwalk pretty nicely on it, but if you want to get anywhere in a hurry...
And that one brought her all the way in. There she is, getting back out into that channel on the right, left side of the bay.
Yeah, it's a deceptive channel. You still, even when you think you're in it, keep paddling wider, because sure enough, a wider set will come through and claim you, and then it's all gone. One duck dive equals 6 or 7 duck dives. Said he got a little tube out there yesterday, which
Really?
he was pretty surprised about, but happy with. And that is Justin Becret on screen with Ian Fontaine, the French Billabong coach, who also competed in the QS 3000 earlier this week. All right, we've got some more scores in. Alyssa Spencer's second wave, a 4.67. Sarah Wakita's opener, a 2.5. So Alyssa in control. And interestingly enough, Alyssa hit the beach a long time before Sarah, but Sarah has got the ascendancy in the paddle back out. Have a look at these lines of whitewater. Not quite closing out the bay, but not far off it either.
There he is, Cade. So Cade's getting ready to go toe-to-toe with Justin Becret. And
he's in the athlete's resting area.
Yep, there's Sarah. She's
some great
got the
signs
paddle
around
power.
here.
Yeah, there are great signs around here.
I used the ATM last night, and as soon as I pressed the English button for my language, it flashed up a warning telling me to be careful of gangsters. But it's all right. I avoided the gangsters and was able to pay for my dinner. And we had dumplings for a change, and weren't they delightful?
Surprise, surprise.
19 and a half minutes to go. And not only is this one of those beaches that's sort of got the marbly textured effect, it's also quite steep. You think you're on the beach, and then a wave sucks back out to sea, and you're 6 feet off the beach again. The worst one of those has to be Sunset, right? Or maybe Puerto Escondido in Mexico, but Sunset Beach. You think you're there, and then you're nowhere near it.
Yep. I almost fell fatally to that one the other day after my free surf. Right in front of the plethora of photographers that we have down here on the beach for finals day. It's never a good feeling.
It's quite a tough peanut gallery because everyone is sitting right in front of this wave. There's nothing that goes unnoticed. You think you've got away with one, and you certainly don't. Shout out to Ty Serrati, who literally ran me over the other day, hit me in the head with his surfboard, trying to kick out when he accidentally dropped in on a longboarder. Cheers, Ty. Slowly getting over the concussion symptoms, and hopefully I can pass a concussion protocol and be back in action in the next few days.
And here we go, our very serious athletes with their pizza.
Well, that's the South Africans. They've unfortunately just lost their last soldier in Eli Bucas going down. So until Stevie Sawyer gets into action in the longboarding, they can have a day on the pizza. Why not? They're only kids.
They deserve it.
All right, 17:40 remaining. Alyssa Spencer with a 4.67 and a 0.5. Saw she had a Fish 101 sticker on her board. That's everyone's favourite fish restaurant in Encinitas. They've got quite the surf team. Guys like Josh Kerr, Damien Hobgood, all proudly stick it up.
Looks like a currenty soup out there. They got pushed over to that right side pretty quickly.
Current as in water moving around, or current as in raisins? Speaking of Ty Serrati, he's come back to haunt me once again. Bringing in the latest updated score sheets. So the semis are locked in for the men. Justin Becret, Cade Matson, France versus the US. Second semi, Joe Azuki from Japan up against Lucas Vicente from Brazil. He was proudly Team Italo when JJ asked, was it JJ or Vaughn? Asked him his who he was going for in the world title race this year in Hawaii. And what a showdown that is going to be. Just this whole last 6 weeks of the year, from the QS and the CT in Europe to the World Juniors, World Longboarding and the QS here in Taiwan, and then everything that's going on in Hawaii. We had the HIC at Sunset. We've got the Triple Crown. Of course, that tells us who's going to qualify for next year's championship tour, and most importantly, who's winning this year's championship tour as well as this year's Triple Crown. So it's a massive crescendo to tie a bow around the 2019 championship tour and qualifying series. And this 2-month period determines most of, well, the majority of who's going to be on stage at the WSL Awards Night on the Gold Coast in Australia early next year when we do it all again.
And yeah, both these girls looking to do what they did in their previous heats again. Last heat for Alyssa, we saw her just squeak over at the last minute with Caitlin Simmers. That was a really exciting exchange for Alyssa, and she's got to be looking to back that up.
Yep, so Alyssa Spencer from Encinitas and Caitlin Simmers from Oceanside, so they're not miles apart. Caitlin Simmers, one of the revelations of this World Junior Championship. She's 2 foot tall, but just incredible. Surfs like someone twice her size, and you know that the sky is the limit. If she keeps going at this rate, she will be winning surf contests for years to come at the highest level. She's a prodigious talent. Of course, she was part of the Stab Ladybirds contest held as part of Stab High, the Waco wave pool, BSR in Texas, throwing up massive aerials. We saw Molly Picklum, the Australian young gun, who was unfortunately eliminated in round 3. Did one of the best aerials you will ever see just a couple of weeks ago, also in that wave pool at Waco in Texas. So the girls are taking to the sky, and the sky is definitely the limit. 13:45 to go. Slow heat this one. Alyssa Spencer, the only score of any significance of 4.67. Here she goes on her forehand. This is a long wall out in front. Big turn. All right, this is going to be decisive if she can string it together. Another strong section. Holds her nerve and holds her rail. So 2 turns just to set up there. Could have gone harder. Maybe it's all designed at this one. Bang! There it is. Drops the other shoulder and moves it into a layback. And this is going to be a great score for Alyssa Spencer. Can she get one last connection? She's sticking with it. And there it is, so sealing the deal, and she will be pumped as she kicks out of that. 13 minutes to go. Will Alyssa Spencer hit the beach and run all the way around? Because she has such a long paddle in front of her if she's to go from there. 13 minutes to get back to the takeoff spot. Sarah Wakita is going to be chasing a combination of scores once this one comes in.
Here's Alyssa again. Right off the top, look how she digs her fins into the lip there, sends a lot of spray, and she does one more. Gets a little hung up there, but so much speed off of this as she comes around this section. And here she goes, really deep bottom turn, flare off the back foot there. And yeah, this wave just keeps offering her more and more. Almost surpasses our camera, but not quite. She gets that last maneuver in there to seal the deal. Nicely done for Alyssa. Meanwhile, we had Wakita on the right. Taking a look here. A little bit sticky. But bowling up here, and she smashes the lip. Unfortunately, she goes down. But going high risk there. And there she is. So she's back in that section, as you can see there, where the 2 waves are coming together. Really hard place to be. But she's scratching into the shoulder there, so she might not have to get punished by any sets. She's looking in a good predicament. There he is, Cade Matson, coming up in this next semi.
Yeah, he's Got the noise cancelling headphones on, blocking out any distractions. He's looking pretty focused. The lone Californian standing after Crosby bowed out yesterday, and then Jet Schilling went out in the last round. And there it is. So Alyssa Spencer has hit the beach. She's got another long run ahead of her. If you think the 4.67 was finished up with a run up the beach, and that was after she went right. So she's gone left on this one and laced together a good half dozen turns. She's looking pretty gassed, and why wouldn't she be? It's massive out there. There's a lot of duck diving to be done. She's just trotted a good probably 400 metres up a very tricky beach. But it's worth it because the last score comes in an 8.33, so up into the excellent range. Pair that with a 4.67, and as predicted, Sarah Wakita is chasing a combination of scores, but Wakita has a number to come in for her last wave. So we're waiting on one more to drop for Sarah Wakita.
There again we have Justin Becret getting some advice.
Yep, from Tiago Carrick, who we saw unfortunately cop an interference yesterday to end his hopes of a World Junior title. Here goes a replay of Alyssa Spencer. So she hacked away nicely that first turn. This wave just kept on running and running and running. A couple of these turns were sort of setups. That was very damaging. Lots of points to be garnered by that one. That was another setup turn. Right about now, she really had to put her foot down. She probably could have straightened out there, but you've gone that far. You may as well make it to the very end. And there it is, the final exclamation mark. An 8.33, the result there for Alyssa Spencer. We're still waiting on that last score to come in for Sarah Wakita.
And here's one more for Sarah. Gouging huge bottom turn there. Really liked how she loaded up. And again, great form.
Whoa.
Spicy off the lip. We're loving Sarah's front hand. And again, we saw that wrapping front carve from that last heat of Sarah. That's going to be a lot of points coming off of that second maneuver, I think.
So, previous wave for Sarah Wakita comes in at 3.6. That breaks her out of the combination. She's now chasing a 9.4. This won't be that, but she could upgrade on the 3.6 and make things just that little bit tighter once again. This is a good wave, so we're seeing more and more of these longer running walls. Our conditions starting to clean up. We've got a little bit more tide coming in that might be helping things as well. 8 minutes to go. Alyssa Spencer currently is pretty comfortable out in front with an 8.33 and a 4.67. She wants to get rid of that 4. Sarah Wakita has a 3.6 and a 2.5. She wants to get rid of the 2 and add something as big as possible to really narrow the gap between her and Alyssa Spencer. 7:45 to go.
Both of our competitors in this heat are very well versed and have seen a lot of heats in their day, and great experience from both of these girls. It would be really interesting to see a final with Japan all around the board.
Yep, that'd be pretty amazing. Alyssa Spencer would not like to see that at all, and at the moment she is seeing to it that that won't be happening, but we have a score to come in for Wakita. Still no priority, so Alyssa Spencer hasn't made it back out after her 8.33. Surely at some point they're going to flip the disc in her favour. There it is, priority red, then blue. Still waiting on that last score to come in for Sarah Wakita. It's going to be an important one with under 7 minutes remaining. Six and a half minutes remaining. Justin Becret on screen, warming up for his battle with Cade Matson. Last score in for Sarah Wakita, a 7.33. Now we've got a battle on our hands. 6 minutes 20 to go. Wakita is chasing a 5.68. So great wave selection from Sarah to drop that good score. 6 minutes to go. Alyssa Spencer, will she have to go one more time? Has a look. Will they flip the priority disc? Wakita is appealing for it. She says that Spencer had a proper dig, and there you go. They have flipped priority over to Sarah Wakita. So to clarify that one, Alyssa Spencer had priority, put the head down, and the judges are saying she made a concerted effort to get into that one. As soon as you make an effort, priority or not. Straight away we saw Wakita throw the hand in the air and say, come on, that's not on. And the judges have agreed with her. So priority now flips over to Wakita. Will that be decisive? She needs a 5.68. Imagine if she was to get that score on the next wave that comes her way after Alyssa just granted her priority. 5 minutes to go.
That's right, and neither of these girls want to leave this competition yet. But however, if one of them does, they'll be receiving 3rd place here at the Taiwan Open of Surfing. Not bad, considering it would be the best result for either of these girls. So far, Alyssa came at an equal 5th last year, and Sarah with an equal 9th place last year. And 3rd place here will take home $2,500. Not bad.
Handy.
Handy, but of course, our 1st place girl here is going to take home the 10,000 points and the $10,000. It's a big difference from 3rd to 1st.
Huge.
Four minutes. And Wakita is still sitting pretty with priority. 5, 6, 7 to get into that 1st position. That's going to boost her into the opportunity to take home that $10,000 and bragging rights of the World Junior Champion.
3 minutes 50 to go. Alyssa Spencer, she won't be happy holding on to that 4, 6, 7. She won't be happy that she just coughed up priority when she probably didn't need to. Sarah Wakita, she's got a bit of momentum after dropping a 7.33 and then gaining priority. Can she do something with it? She needs a 5.68. 3 minutes 20 to go.
.360 is Sarah's low score. Definitely be easy to replace after we saw the likes of her 7.33. And she's looking like she's got a lot of her dad's style, which is really cool. Loading up really low on that front hand bottom turn. Awesome technique from both these girls. You can tell they've trained very hard this year to make it to this heat. And here we have Alyssa Spencer on an interesting looking right. A little fat. She doesn't like it and she's out.
Yeah, well that was under priority and still decided she wanted to roll the dice and get into it. Where's she put herself now though? She's right back in the middle of the peak. 2.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, that current is really ripping so much that Alyssa didn't even really have to paddle to be back in that spot. Nice location to pick up an insider with that 2nd priority.
So we're sneaking down towards the 2 minute mark. Alyssa Spencer with an 8.33 really wants to get a 2nd wave. The 4.67 she won't be happy with. Inside 2 minutes remaining. Sarah Wakita, she's done everything right through the middle half of this heat to get that 7.33 on the board and establish priority, but now she's got some decisions to make. She needs to cash in that priority. She needs to get a hold of a wave that's over 5.68. 1 minute 30 to go, 90 seconds, so it's starting to get critical. Can the Japanese final clean sweep become a reality? Or will Alyssa Spencer from California be the one coming up against Amuro Suzuki in just over an hour's time?
All right. 1 minute ticking down to the final seconds of this heat. So exciting. We're about to decide who's the second participant in our 2019 Taiwan Open of Surfing Women Junior Champions Final. And Japan, so much talent. They'd love to see Wakita versus Amuro in that heat.
They would be buzzing the lead up to the 2020 Olympics next year. Imagine if they could have a world junior champion at the WSL level. That would be amazing. 30 seconds to go. Alyssa Spencer won't be standing for that. She would love to get rid of her 4.67. How? I mean, we saw Amuro Suzuki manufacture a miracle with under a minute to go in her heat. But right now, it's not looking good for Sarah Wakita. 10 seconds remaining. And Alyssa Spencer, well, I thought she was going to just slam the door shut on that, but here goes the hooter. And it's Alyssa Spencer from San Diego, California, who is through to the final. Unfortunately, Sarah Wakita, a 7.33, but couldn't get a backup. And that is the end of a very valiant campaign. Women's final is decided at the World Juniors. Now we've got 2 men's semi-finals to do the same on their side of the draw. Don't go anywhere. More action from the Taiwan Open of Surfing coming up right after this quick break.
Greetings.
I'm on a mission, I'm paying dues, I'm in position, I'm staying up, it's getting late, you're doing good, I'm doing great, recognition, I'm on a mission, I'm paying dues, I'm in position, I'm staying up, it's getting late, you're doing good, I'm doing great. Hours of practice, they don't feel like working, overthinking, I don't mean to let the pain and hurting. I was main stage with Tiny at a festival. Realities of just less than 24 hours past and I'm back to working. The wage isn't minimum, but when you know your worth is more, you make your own curriculum. Study in the industry, I know you see me killing them. Nice, it felt so real, I had some moments I was living them. Celebrity, civilian, walk amongst the greats that you ignore. The ones relentlessly pursuing every key to every door. It's evergreen and evermore if you're content with living normally. I'm handing in my notice to the world on record formally. I know this life is right for me. I know the future's bright for me. I know my teacher.
Welcome back to Taiwan. It is the Taiwan Open of Surfing, and folks, you are tuned in to the World Junior Championships semi-finals of the junior men's is hitting the water right now. Justin Baquet from France up against Cade Matson from the USA. Heavyweights. Big performers right throughout this draw. These guys, 2 of the biggest kids out there. Not really kids. I mean, they're young adult men, but they're still juniors. Vaughan Blakey here in the commentary booth. Very dear friend, I was going to say. Maine Kinamaka as well. And we are basically pretty blown away by what we've just seen in the junior women's semi-finals.
Yes.
Huge results there, Maine. But right now, how do you see these semis playing out?
This is going to be a tough one. This is going to be the most exciting matchup I'm calling so far. Baquet, we've talked about him so much at this event. He has been surfing heaps. He was in the three-star before this, and I actually did a little bit of math. So he's surfed 6 heats in the previous event and 4 heats in this event. So He's almost surfed 4 hours of heats in this whole Taiwan Open of Surfing.
Well, we heard a big cheer from the beach, and I think we know why, because this is a replay. Look at the energy coming out of Cade Matson right there, and then Justin Becret. Let's see what he got up to. Big backhand snap. Oh, the boys have found a couple of long winding lefts, plenty of opportunities. Power carves here from Justin. Oh, this wave just kept on giving him plenty to work with. So a really quick start from both these guys, and straight onto the lefts. I'm just looking at the draw, and both these guys coming from the top half of the draw, getting over some huge opposition to get to the semi-finals. Justin overcame Carly Vast from Tahiti. Carly, one of the standout juniors in this event so far, and Cade Matson taking over from Tane Bowden from New Zealand. It's just been fireworks all over. Meanwhile, in the second half of the draw, down the bottom, it's just been almost the tradesman-like professionalism of Joe Azuchi and Lucas Vicente from Brazil. Those guys maybe haven't sort of been standouts in terms of, you know, the big moves and the big heats, but they're getting it done. And now they're in the semis. Joe Azuchi, as you said, a former World Junior Champion runner-up. So he's looking to go one better. And Lucas looking very calm. We saw him do 2 runarounds in his semi-quarterfinal. Barely even cracked a sweat. Didn't even look that pumped to get back out there at all. And disposed of Jet Schilling in that. But right now, these are the guys. And Monet, as you said, we're expecting big fireworks in this semi-final. But right now, why don't we cross down to Chris Binns, who is with the winner of that last semi-final. Chris?
Cheers, Vaughan. Yep, having a chat with Alyssa, and you were just saying some of the biggest waves you've ever surfed in a junior competition.
Yeah, it was definitely pretty challenging out there, and the waves have some size and some power to them, so it's definitely hard to be in the spot when the good ones come, but I was lucky enough to get that running left, and then on the way paddling back out, I saw Sarah get that 7, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be such a close heat, and I kind of made the mistake of paddling for a wave at the end, and yeah, but I'm lucky that she didn't get another good one because she easily could have.
By running left, do you mean it gave you the opportunity to do heaps of turns, or it gave you the opportunity to run a mile along the beach to have to go all the way back to the right to get out again?
Oh, both of that. I was definitely so tired on the paddle back out, and Sarah caught a wave, and we kind of had to paddle battle each other, and I was just so out of breath. But yeah, it was definitely a lot of work, but I'm happy to be in the final.
And Sarah had that score, couldn't get a backup. Were you sitting there nervous? You gave up priority with about 5 minutes to go. Were you thinking, uh-oh, what have I done here?
Yeah, that was definitely a mistake for me, I think, and I got lucky that the ocean didn't provide another wave. But yeah, that was like the longest 5 minutes of my life. I was like, just count down, no more waves. But yeah, I'm lucky to be through to the final.
And your fellow Californian, Cade Matson, is in the water behind us right now. Great energy around all of the Americans at this event. You guys working as a team?
Yeah, we're all here supporting each other, and you know, we all want to see each other do the best we can, so it's super cool to be a part of such an amazing group.
Well, Kira won last year. We've got an American into the final this year. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
All right, back up to you guys in the box.
Thanks, Binsy. Congratulations there to Alyssa. Crazy heat.
Crazy heat. That could have gone very wrong for Alyssa had a wave come to Sarah Wakita, so she'll be happy to sneak that final position.
Oh, Cade Matson is off and flying again. He's got a left way down the beach, but check out that first score. Holy moly, Mono. That's an 8.67, so you can see he was feeling that at the end of that wave as he punched the sky. And Justin Becret, a 7.5. The boys are off to a flyer here. It's expecting nothing less from 2 of the best performers so far in this event. And both on the backhand, obviously, while they're surfing the lefts. And 2 of, like I said, just 2 of the big explosive proponents of that big vertical backside blast.
Yeah, exactly. And did you notice, too, that both of them paddled all the way back out? They didn't do the runaround.
Madness.
Madness.
That is madness.
Lots of arm power going on here.
Well, it's not the final yet. You don't want to peak too early, but I can't imagine that these guys could afford to leave much in the tank at this stage. They know, even after the first 5 minutes here, that they've got a heat on their hands. Beautiful first turn there. I love the extension. Just making the most out of that carve, really drawing the rail all the way through the turn. And so Cade Matson, what can you tell me about Cade? Are you two mates?
You know, Cade is on Quicksilver, so I've known him quite a while. I'm not very close with him, but I've seen him since he was younger, and it's really cool to see him now. Obviously, when I used to know him in our younger years, he was smaller. When I interviewed him the other day, he was about a foot taller than me.
You had to get on your tippy toes just to get the microphone to his mouth.
But I'm not the only one. Even when Binzi interviewed him, Binzi had the mic up here. So, yeah, big guy.
Yeah, Binzi's usually standing on a chair if he's interviewing anyone.
Well, when you're interviewing the girls, that was quite funny. Some of them were your height, and we were saying,
I'm either, if I'm off camera, I'm doing the splits, or I'm standing off the stage. It's quite a remarkable size difference between me and some of the competitors here. Caitlin Simmers, please don't even reveal the photo. Don't put that anywhere near social media, because there's a massive disparity between our heights. If we were back to back, she'd come up to the back of my knees, I think. So 20 minutes, look at that, 10 minutes already gone. Big scores locked in. Cade getting a backup score, so now the pressure's off him a little bit. He can work almost entirely on just trying to better a 4.57. Every time he does, the lead will increase. Best two waves, of course. And that man right there, Lucas Vicente, the Brazilian. There's always got to be one in the finals. Don't you worry about that. Brazil has been the predominant world force in surfing now for almost half a decade. I think it's just undeniable. We've got 3 Brazilian men going for the world title this year. Jordy Smith and Kalohe and Dino also mathematically in with a chance. It's going to be tricky for those guys to pull back. Those fiery, passionate, skitsy, talented surfers, Gabby Medina, Felipe Toledo, and Italo Ferrer. Whew.
Skitsy.
It's pretty amazing thinking like what those 3 guys are going to bring at Pipeline. Because the other thing is, even if it's not big pipe, if it's like 3 foot, it's still going to be unbelievable.
Yeah. Skitsy, that's one of my favorite Australian adjectives.
Yeah, I don't know when it sort of entered the lexicon at home, but it's stuck. That's what we're saying. Sort of all over the place. It couldn't just go anywhere. That's kind of where it comes from. Very unpredictable. But yeah, Australian surfing in a little bit of a, wouldn't say a funk, but just struggling at the moment in competition. Just, we haven't got any surfers in the finals here today. And it's not that we haven't got the talent. It just seems to be that there's really solid momentum in other areas of the world right now. Australia, of course, had multiple decades there where we were challenging for either first or second or third best surfing nation in the world. And I think it's fair to say that, we've got our work cut out for us to get into that top 3 at the moment.
Yeah, and in this competition, last time we saw Australian surfer was in round 3. Dakota and Xavier Huxtable.
Yep, something's going on. We need to get it sorted. We've got the talent, though, and the structures. Australia has a high-performance centre there just below the Gold Coast. And B. Durbidge, head of our Olympic team, Triple Crown champ, pipe master, knows a thing or two about winning. Finished runner-up to Kelly Slater one year in the world title. Yeah, I don't know. Don't know what it is. I just got to tap that little Aussie mongrel a little bit more. Hawaii's doing very well, though. You guys have got world champs recently in the men's and women's division. John Carissa. Who else is over there shredding at the moment? Zeke Lau's been incredible the last couple of years.
Yeah, Zeke is great. Loved watching him take those sunset contests.
He's the... Some people you just want to see surf one particular wave. Zeke and sunset. Love watching that.
It's a perfect pairing.
So good. Who else? Who else is sort of flying the flag for Hawaii at the moment? Who excites you?
Who excites me? Well, who excites me from Hawaii? We've got lots of great longboarders. And what we just saw on the screen, we saw Honolulu Bloomfield. So she's just arrived with a lot of the longboard crew getting ready for that event. But,
Justin Bacret down the beach. Sorry, I'm just going to cut in on you here, Monet. And here he goes, flying. He's got tons of speed. Look how busy he is. Smashes a nice big up and over. Rides the roof for a second. Hooks it. And no, that has not happened. I have not seen Bacret drop a backhand finisher. Not once in this comp. So pressure starting to build in this semi-final. He knows he's got a heat on his hands. Cade Matson has thrown down an 8.67. He's backed up with a 4.57. Justin has a 7.5. He was well on his way to a 6 score there, and unfortunately, something we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, he was answering back big time on this one right here. Look at the speed he enters with on that wave. Just motoring through and banks it right on that first turn. And this is the one here. He really cranks up, and this one smacks it into the lip. Just couldn't quite see what happened there behind whatever it is obstructing our camera view. But yeah, unusual behavior for Bacret.
Look at this. Lucas Vicente is absolutely focused. What do you think he's listening to there? Bit of Shakira or maybe some
Justin Bieber,
Ricky Martin?
Yeah, lots of focus. It's interesting to see all the different preheat techniques. We've got a wide array from the most serious to jet shilling dancing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Love
that's
it.
true. Tapping into different energies. Lucas probably listening to just the soothing sounds of Sepultura and Maxi Cavalera, Brazil's finest. Always used to calm my nerves before a heat. Bit of screaming, angry death metal. So, Justin Bacret, he's been a standout, and I think from memory this has been one of the first heats where he's got a fight on his hands. He's been explosive and exciting and doing it pretty easy, I've got to say, throughout the early rounds. He surfed a really smart heat against Coley Vast, dispatched Cole Alves back in round 3. And he won his first heat, so he managed to avoid round 2 with a pair of 8s, so a 16-point total in round 1. It has all been going Justin's way, the Frenchman. So let's see how he goes now that he's got a bit of a fight on his hands.
Right, and I was saying earlier, he did 4.16 hours of surfing heats here at Jinzan
On this
Harbor.
bank? Oh.
Right here at this year of Taiwan Open of Surfing. So he's got so much experience under his belt.
Just in this comp.
Just in this comp.
Just in this festival of shred goes on here in the island of Taiwan.
That's right, and he received equal third in the QS 3000, so he does not want to repeat that.
Oh no, there, 2 third places. I mean, 1, yeah, I'll cop that. 2, don't know how I'd feel about that. Here is Cade. He's got a big set too, and the boys are deciding to stay with the lefts. First hack right in Justin Bacret's head. Flies around the corner. Now, is this thing going to miss the bank, or is Cade going to find something a little steeper, a little more vertical to hit? Looks like he is staying busy. Oh, big section looming. Throws it up and over. Is he going to ride out of this? He's lost it as well. Oh, points go begging, because he really needed a strong finish. A lot of half surfing on that wave, you know, really pushing your turns, trying to get the most out of it. But what the judges want to see is just that easy power, that solid speed, drive, flow, all those things that make it just a joy to watch. Magic carpet vibes.
Yep, Matson was looking to seal the deal with that one halfway through the heat. Would have been nice to be copping another 8, feeling comfortable. But now he has Becquerel with priority. So here was this last of Cade's wave. And what you're talking about here, he sees Becquerel there. Probably wanted to give him a good amount of spray.
Nothing better.
No. But yeah, here you go with talking about that halfway in between. Wave doesn't give him a whole lot of juice to really rip in, and this one would have been nice to see him complete that, but that super shallow inside with all that water moving around, it's hard to negotiate. It's
and
a bit
dumpy
of a bull
too,
ride.
dumpy right on that end bit. It's really hard to get a good clean turn. The judges have been rewarding it if you can fly out of those things well. Well, the door's open here. I think Cade will improve on his 4.67. It was a big wave, but really having to work to get those turns off. I don't think he's going to put it out of reach, not by any stretch of the imagination, and that means that Justin Becquerel, who fell on his last wave, first time we've really seen him not finish, and he'll be pretty stoked that Cade didn't ride out of that last one. Well, this semi's going off. Loving it. It's huge out there, by the way.
Yeah, you really can't tell. The screen doesn't do it justice. The sets are rolling through up on the scaffolding. The view that the judges have. When the sets come in, they're lines. Serious lines.
Oh, it's victory at sea out there when the big ones roll through off those back bombies. And just a reminder, folks, if you're enjoying the action here from Taiwan, don't go anywhere. The Savo, we will be crowning the Junior World Champions, but we'll be kicking straight into the Taiwan Longboarding World Championships, right?
That's correct. On December 1st, which is Sunday. So we'll take a 1-day break here from Jinzun Harbor. And all of our longboard friends are going to be here getting a good crack at what's on offer, tuning up for first day of longboarding.
How's the vibe competitively in the longboard circuit? Is it cutthroat?
You know, I think that's something people might assume about longboarding, since it is often thought of as more mellow.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Are they all just walking around and, I don't know, eating bowls of fruit salad and high-fiving each other and
driving their vans
being
around.
healthy? And
no, there's definitely some steep competition. The girls, it's so cool to see competitive longboarding. Got a lot of interesting characters. Chloe Kalman, so she's hunting down a world title. That's going to be exciting to watch. And all that action's going to go down very shortly.
Well, I was just joking, by the way. I love competitive longboarding. I've got so many mates who are involved in that circuit. Al Nost, obviously, just unbelievable stylist. Hasn't really entered, hasn't dipped his toe into the competition side of things at the moment, but he's got to be like a guy who could easily win a world title, right? I mean, I don't know too many people who are that radical on longboards. Joel Tudor, of course, and then, whoa, this is huge. Big backside vertical re-entry from Justin Becquerel. Oh, the wave. He sort of just thought, no, I'm not going to keep on going on this. It's just too much hard work. I love this first turn, though.
Yeah, the difficulty of maneuver in the most critical section of the wave is exactly what Becquerel did on that one. And his decision there, tactical. He doesn't have to spend the energy to paddle all the way back out. He's not going to go a few hundred meters down the beach. As you can see here, he's all the way at the right of our screen. He's going to have to make his way all the way back to the top, where Matson is now sitting with priority with 7 minutes and 30 seconds.
Wow, we saw the female athletes use the beach.
Yeah.
They weren't bothering with the paddling. They were running around and they were getting 2 or 3 runarounds a session, so certainly wasn't taking them any longer to do the runaround.
Yep, they were saving their arms at the expense of their legs, but hope that they are practicing their cardio, which I'm sure they are. That last heat was actually interesting. We saw Spencer enter the water before Wakita, And then Wakita ended up getting priority first. She just went motorboat right past her. So,
Wow.
so that's coming into big play here. But Alyssa, she smashed that last heat. We're going to see her very shortly in the final.
Those semi-finals, and in fact, I think there was a heat this morning as well with, was it Alyssa and Caitlin Simmers?
Yep.
They're three of the best heats of this entire event. They were just incredibly close, seesawing battles, right down to the last minute, and clutch waves winning it. Committed surfing too. Here goes Justin. He's found an insider. This is steep. First turn was a cracker. Second one is a ride out. 2 turns. He's definitely going to get a score, and he's going to get the score he needs for that for sure. 5.83 is what he's chasing. 2 big turns, committed, lots of speed. What did you think of those ones?
I love that first turn. He had so much pop on that first maneuver, through a lot of spray. And Matsson's answering back. He surely would have heard the screams going on for Becquerel, but here he is going to get some of those himself. Just smashes
This
it.
is huge. These guys are going blow for blow right now. Cade Mattson answering back. First turn, you know what? It might look like a bit of a tap, but I'm not joking. He hammered that thing. You wait till you see the replay. Now, this was beautiful. Exits the turn with more speed than he went into it with, and the second turn even releasing the tail up over the back. Huge score coming for Justin Becquerel, but look at this answer. Huge power gaff, up and over, Nooner over the foam. Just 2 turns. The judges have got their work cut out, splitting those 2 rods. Tell you one thing, it is on out here. These guys are bashing each other. It's just turned into a slugfest. They're just toe-to-toe. Left, right, uppercut, left, right. No blocking. Completely bashing each other. And this is what we wanted to see from 2 of the big heavyweights in the junior men's division. Cade Mattson, Justin Becquerel. Where do you go from here?
That's what the judges are going to be asking themselves. So they're going to have to choose who had the better of that exchange. It's really tough because they both really hammered. I think they did everything they could have done on those waves.
I think the only thing that I might throw in there from the outside looking in is that Cade's looked just a touch more powerful. Justin's looked slightly more whippy and maybe a little more electrifying. Cade's had more muscle. It's a hard one to split, isn't it?
Yep.
Justin definitely was coming out of his turns with a ton of speed. I'm actually stuck here. I don't know who got the best of that exchange.
I don't know, but you described it eloquently.
Thank you. Elephantly. No, I think that... what about you? What do you think? Have you got an opinion on that? Did you like the speed and the sort of the nimbleness of Becquerel, or did you like the just water-moving muscle of Cato's 2 turns?
I love the speed of Becquerel. I really enjoy watching him surf. That's just one of my favorite things about surfing, though, personally, going fast. We had that conversation yesterday. But, yeah, Mattson did have a little bit more juice in there. He really threw, I think it was that 3rd turn. Could have just been a tap on the lip, but he threw all his weight into it and just blew it to smithereens. So we're going to see what comes out. It's going to be close.
I don't know if we're waiting for a score here. I don't think we are. I think everything's locked. There's 3 minutes remaining, and the judges giving Mattson the power. They like the power better. Pretty sure those scores are locked in, and so look at that. Cade, a 8.67 and a 7.57. Justin, the Frenchman, a 7.5 and a 6.9. So it's looked like muscle is winning the day. I think when you're not watching on the screen like we are and the folks at home, the muscle really does throw a lot more spray. So if you're watching it from the beach, from up in the position where the tower is, splitting these waves is a bit easier because you can sort of see the size of the wave, get a better understanding of how fast these guys are moving. And no doubt Cade was throwing a lot more water around. So the judges loving that mix. Both surfers attacking this with so much energy. I don't know how they're going to battle out for a final after this. This is a real battle.
Yeah, but that's the cool thing about this heat is these guys want it so badly. And not only do they want it, but their friends want it for them. The energy right now at the contest site is going crazy.
Oh, I saw the coolest thing before. I wanted to tell you about this. As Alyssa, after she got her, I think her high 8 or 9 in that last heat, you remember they split the peak, and as she was running up the beach, the Japanese team stood up and applauded her score as she was running up the beach to paddle out, even though she was up against one of their team riders. Gave me goosebumps. It's going, how good is this comp?
That's the best to see the Japanese team. They've got such good sportsmanship.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're going to be really happy to see Amuro in that final. That's going to be really exciting. Another great result for Amuro after taking out that 10-star earlier in the year. So she's just having a doozy of a season.
I love that. It's amazing how people get on a roll, isn't it? You can be sort of grinding away there for a while, and next minute you win one comp, you win another comp. Next thing you got a sponsor. Next thing someone's, you know,
next thing you're in the
offering
final.
to do your groceries and your laundry, and you're just styling. 30 seconds to go here. Cade Matson is right in the box seat, holding priority. 30 seconds to go. The judges have really enjoyed the power game that he has brought to this heat. I think that's really the only discernible difference between these two guys. It's been so close. Justin's been whippy. He's been super fast. I think he may lose a little bit of sleep over that one turn he didn't make early in the heat. That was a pretty good wave. But Cade using priority just to snuff out any chance. And look at him. He is pumped. Pumped to be into the final of the World Junior titles. Are you kidding me? And a little bit of an upset. Justin Becquet was the high seed going into that heat. But Cade Matson gets the job done. He's into the final. Folks, we're going to take a quick break here from the World Junior Championships. Taiwan Open of Surfing. We'll be back in just a moment. Semi-final number 2.
They don't feel like working. Overthinking, I don't mean to let the pain and hurting. I was main stage with Tiny at a festival. Reality's a just less than 24 hours past and I'm back to working. The wage isn't minimum, but when you know your worth is more, you make your own curriculum. Study in the industry, I know you see me killing them. Nice, it felt so real, I had some moments I was living them. Celebrity, civilian, walk amongst the greats that you ignore. The ones relentlessly pursuing every key to every door. It's evergreen and evermore if you're content with living normally. I'm handing in my notice to the world on record formally. I know this life is right for me. I know the future's bright for me. I know my teeth.
Welcome back to the Taiwan Open of Surfing. Cade Matson being congratulated by Justin Becquet, unfortunately bowing out into 3rd place, but through to the final, mate. You've got to be pumped on that one.
Oh my God, I'm so stoked. I don't even know what to say right now.
Plenty of opportunity for waves out there. You got some great scores.
Yeah, these lefts are actually really fun. I'm really stoked for the final. Hopefully we get more of those lefts.
And being in the top half of the draw means you'll surf one less time than whoever wins out of these guys. With such trying conditions, do you see that as a bit of a positive?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's really, really tough out there. It's a lot of paddling, so you have to be really fit to kind of keep going out there. So, yeah, it's definitely an advantage to have one less heat and, yeah, save some energy.
Obviously, you're going to take a lot of energy, a bit of adrenaline going into the final. How psyched up are you right now to see if you can't bring the World Junior title back to America?
Yeah, that'd be sick. I mean, I don't know if a North American's won yet, so yeah, that'd be insane.
All right, well, we'll let you dry off and get charged up for the final. Best of luck, mate. One to go.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, back to you guys in the box.
Thanks very much, Binzi. Yep, semi-final number 2 is underway. And out there at the moment we have Joe Azuchi and Lucas Vicente from Brazil. Joe from Japan. And Cade Matson looking pretty stoked there. And Binzi touched on it, JJ. One less heat on a day like today is a huge advantage.
Yeah, absolutely, Vorno. And that was something that was a bit of a discussion yesterday afternoon. We finished half of that round, and so 3 heats in these conditions is a lot better. A lot more gas in the tank, I reckon, right over the 4 performances. Half-hour heats too, really trying conditions.
Here's the thing, though, I think.
What do you think?
Is that the bottom half of the draw, just looking at it, it's been a lot of just knuckling down and getting the job done. I mean, the top half, we've seen so many big performances, a lot of standout waves. These guys on the bottom half of the draw, mate, I swear, they're just chipping away at it. And you've got to watch out for the underdogs, those guys flying under the radar, as we see Lucas here. Mate, this guy didn't even run up the beach on his runarounds last heat. He just conserved every bit of energy he could.
It was a casual saunter.
And I don't know, he didn't even waste energy claiming. He just sort of stared up at the judge's tower with this icy cool, like, don't make me claim if I've got to lift up my arms. Huh? Saving energy for the final. That's what he was kind of doing. So, kind of 2 different stories going on opposite sides of the draw. And I think you've got to beware those guys who are just keeping it low-key and flying under the radar, because both these guys have also snatched clutch victories at the tail end of heats. They're not going to be put off at all by the fact that, Cade Matson and Justin McCret, for example, they've been basically standouts since heat 1. That's all we've been talking about pretty much as those 2 guys.
Yeah, I think it's easy to, if you look through the draw, often the guy has like the best barrel or the biggest heat or the highest heat total. They don't always go on to win. It's pretty hard to maintain that kind of level throughout a surf event over sort of 4 or 5 days or 6 rounds of surfing, and especially with the variables, a bit of luck coming into play. The conditions can change so much in a sort of a CT draw format like we have. So I think you're right, Vorno. Beware the slow and steady burn, the silent.
The silent but deadly.
Yes, under the radar. But just the guys who just get the job done, and it is a long haul to the top of the heap in a draw like this, a CT format. So
the conditions, it's a different story on screen compared to actually walking out of the booth and being just assaulted by the elements. Like the wind here is intense. I mean, just standing out there for more than half an hour, it starts to sort of get under your skin a bit. Surfing 3, 4 heats in these kind of conditions, it takes a bit of a mental toughness. I think, grommets, they're not so prone to being put off by the conditions. Like most groms will be happy to paddle out in absolutely anything. But here goes Lucas
Vicente,
big throwaway. Maybe a little too casual again.
As you say that, though, Vorno, I think, maybe not looking at that shot, I think it might be dying down a bit because you kind of get this stage of the day. We're getting close to 3 o'clock local time, and every afternoon it's always abated. It has just backed right down. So maybe we're getting to that kind of time of the day now where it does back off just a little bit.
True.
I mean, Caitlin Simmers, she was so little. It was like, have you ever held a plastic bag up into the wind? I thought she could have blown
I thought
back.
I saw her blowing down the beach before.
Yeah, I had to run down and put my foot on her, grab her, pick her up, shove her in my pocket, carry her back.
Yeah.
Would have been disastrous for Turtle later or something.
Yeah, grab someone's leggy and put it around a chair just so she doesn't blow away in the wind. She's tiny. But, one thing that wasn't tiny was her approach. She was absolute. I think she was the fastest surfer in this comp. I didn't see anyone flying with more speed on the wave than Caitlin Simmers in this event. She was incredible. Came up against eventual finalist in Alyssa and couldn't overcome the experience of the older competitor, but what is it with women surfing just churning out a world-beating 13-year-old every 4 years, it seems like?
Yeah.
I mean, we had Tyler Wright win a comp when she was 14, a CT.
Yep.
Had Carissa Moore beat 7-time world champ Lane Beachley when she was 14.
Yep.
Steph Gilmore had to take time off school to win her first CT. Carissa Moore. I said Carissa Moore already, but it seems like as soon as you hit your mid-20s, you got to start looking over your shoulder in women's surfing. Oh, Carolyn Marks, another CT winner as a teenager.
Yep.
It's crazy how much I put it down to the opportunity. Now that the girls have equal opportunity, we're starting to see equal results, if not even more impressive stuff going on. Evolution is jumping in women's side of the draw.
And the benefits of learning from the older generation and then paving the way and making mistakes and pushing performance barriers. So, it's great. And that's one of the things. It's just so cool to be at this event. Been to so many World Junior Championships. It's just so good to see.
Look at this wave, JJ. Big set.
Joe.
Roll in. Joe Azuchi's got a big steep section. He absolutely hammers it under the lip and he rides out. Big set wave. This has got to be 6 foot minimum. I dare say if you're out there, it'd look a lot bigger too. He's just snowboarding off the tail of that. First turn though, JJ. How do you feel about that? Big wave, square off the bottom, crack into the pocket.
Yeah, that was really cool. I think there was a missed opportunity there, that hesitation on the second move though. I think if Joe could have got up there and nailed that second turn as well, he would have had a very, very good score. But the takeoff, for sure, Volno, this first turn, timed it well. And just look here, he just thinks about this section, look, and then he goes, nah.
Oh, you're right. Yep.
Bit of a down carve instead. And it might have worked out okay if it kept walling up for him, but that was kind of all she wrote on that one.
There was a wobble, wasn't there, as he came off that first turn. It just
had to go straight into it, otherwise it was too late.
Yeah, a big foam climb there, and he would have been looking at a pretty good score. But I still think it'll probably top out this heat so far. 10 minutes already gone.
He's decorated surfer, man. He's got gold in the ISA a few years ago. I think over in when it was in Japan in Miyazaki. He got second to Finn McGill in Kiama a couple of years ago. 9th here last year, so comes into this event knowing exactly what Jinsun Harbour can deliver. And this is great. He's got a third already. And man, a few words, we know that much. It's crazy young performer out of Japan.
Lucas Vicente, what do you know about him?
Well, this is the first time I've seen him in person. He's a great little fella to have a chat to. He's got really cool kind of nature, and I think, I mean, when you're talking juniors and early teens here and under 18, I always think guys like Lucas who are happy to have a chat, and girls like Savannah, she's just awesome, you know. She kind of volunteers information. To me, that suggests the kind of a mental maturity, which a bit more worldly, they're not so inhibited, and I reckon that kind of stuff translates in their performances. You know, maybe they've got a psychological edge over the other crew in the pack. Sign of bigger things to come, you know.
For sure, man. I gathered from speaking with Lucas just before in the post-heat interview, his two favourite surfers, Italo Ferrer and Adriano de Souza, which is like the classic mix. You've got like this unpredictable freakazoid on one hand, and you've got the hard-working
bulldog,
working class, just grind it out, get the win, and you know, both supreme talents and two guys who know what it takes to sort of turn promise into something bigger, a bigger life. And I think that that's pretty much as good a role models as you need. Susie, love Susie.
I'm with you. There's a lot of crew, like Adriano kind of divides the fan base, I reckon, a lot of times. But I reckon I've followed his story right through since he moved to Australia. Couldn't speak English, moved to Australia, learn how to surf and compete, be in that talent in the Gold Coast. Used to win junior events up at Duranbar with no leg rope on, stuff like that. And he was studying over there English. Pretty lonely life when you're 16 and you move out of Brazil. And he's a fighter, and I really admire the path that he's had to get to the top. And the way he spends time, and he recognises the old, like the winners and the legends in the area, like Bells Beach. He knows who all the old crew are, respects them. Same in Hawaii. He spent time living there, surfing pipe, you know, hanging out with Jamie O. And there's a real
class act, isn't he?
There's kind of a background story there that's pretty solid and pretty cool.
Yeah, I always try to, and I'm, you know, I can't help myself. I love to barrack for Australia when I'm off the mic, and you know, watching surfing and any sport. But have a look at this. Lucas here. This is the guy we were just talking about. Fan of Italo, fan of Adriano. Look at this turn. He jams that one in the pocket. Beautiful read. That's two nice, what do you call those? Just really solid snaps, pocket snaps there. Slightly under the lip, but he does get the spray.
He's got to put a whole wave together, though.
The judges do like it if you're sending a lot of whitewash into the air.
He got a bit unlucky with his first section, didn't he? It was a bit low. His timing was out. Maybe he's still moving his feet around. This turn was good, though, Borno. Wham! But then too far behind. So his whole timing on this wave wasn't quite there. Maybe could have gone high off over the roof to accelerate around that one. But I guess all that comes off the first turn.
Oh,
here we go, Joe.
Oh, throws it up. Yeah, just a bit too late. I hate that feeling when you come off the bottom, you think it's going to go steep and it doesn't. You have to just sort of like, your board just disconnects with your feet instantly and you're just sort of moving sideways through the air with this goofy look on your face.
I regret nothing.
Exactly. Okay, Joe Azuchi getting a 6.5 just for that one big set pocket hook. And I think that's a reward as much as anything just for commitment on the first wave. A big surf, big set wave, I should say, and waiting on a score to come in for Lucas here. Yeah, you're right. They're both very cool cats, these two. Not anything too flashy going on.
Coming into this event.
And emotions too.
Yeah.
Like, I respect that. You know, these guys, it's cool if they do want to give a chat, but I think once you get to the big leagues, you kind of you got to something that you will learn how to handle a loss. But you know, if he wants to process it in his own time and try and figure out why he's so emotionally affected by it, that's cool.
Yeah, but he was straight out there, straight back out for free surf. So bouncing back, 139th in the QS. Did 7 events this year. Hasn't won a major, a junior event win to get here, but he has had 3 third placings and a second. So that's why he's here representing South America, representing Brazil.
Lucas, he banked a 4.9 for that nice little snap, JJ. He's moved into the lead. Joe Azuchi now, the surfer from Japan, in the red, holding priority. He's sitting on a 6.5. He'll just cherry pick whatever next set comes up next. But yeah, no wins in his junior division. That's a pretty... It's not the usual story for most of the kids who have come here to this event. Most of them had at least some sort of success during the course of the year. But put together consistent results. That's
absolutely.
You know, it might not have the trophy on the cabinet, but he's here. That's all that matters. He's given himself a chance. He's in the semi-finals. He could very well have a world junior title on his hands if he's not careful.
In what, an hour's time? Isn't that a good thought? If everything goes your way, in 1 hour, you could be a world champion.
I always wanted to be a pro surfer when I was a kid and felt like I was on the way. Made a couple of state teams and all that sort of stuff. And then
in a very tough region.
Yeah, tough region up there on the north coast of New South Wales. It's kind of... It was in my peer group growing up. I was between...
When did you move to Narrabeen?
I lived at Narrabeen until I was about 9, and then I moved up the coast to Byron and joined Le Bar and stuff like that.
Solid club these days.
Kieran Perro, that's the guy who was in my division.
Pipeline master.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like splitting hairs between you guys.
Pratamo, surfed against him a lot. The
head judge.
Head judge at the WSL.
He's a great surfer.
Then I got shipped off to my dad's farm to live for a year, and all my dreams went up in a cloud of smoke, so to speak.
Well, mate, you're here watching the best in the world right now, so that's pretty cool. There's the, half of the Japanese support crew on the left there. The surfboard is being used as a signal marker. And all those guys really stoked to see Joe doing an amazing job here. Looking for a second final at the World Juniors.
In a strong position. He's second, but he's got priority, and he's got the highest scoring wave of the heat.
And Lucas, of course, looking to carry on the tradition of Brazilian surfers who've done very, very well at this event.
It's interesting what you said before about, you know, sometimes it's not seeing how a guy or a girl wins that'll sort of showcase where they're headed, but more how they handle their losses. Corley Vast in these heat, mate, he He really let his surfboard know that he was unhappy with it.
I missed that. What happened?
Oh, yeah, he couldn't help himself. He sat out there with priority for about 7 minutes, maybe even longer, and just nothing came to him. Justin Becret ended up beating him in that heat, and he just really... Bit of a Koloe cloud break moment.
1-2. Ooh, finalist.
There he is. He's looking pretty juiced. He's looking pretty happy.
Not a bad backhand. Holy moly.
But yeah, he came in on the beach. He actually did do a post-heat interview with us, even though he'd lost, which was cool. And he just said that he came here, he had high goals for himself. He had a blinder of a year. I mean, man, he's gone from basically being an up-and-coming sort of unknown to
a standout.
Well-known all over the world for just destroying some of the best chope surfers ever in huge... deathly pits at Chopes. You might remember some of his waves in the Gath helmet from earlier this year. But yeah, he was Devo.
He won the trials and got through.
He was Devo, and you just think, ooh, he's not going to be turning up to this comp next year. Letting that happen again. 7 minutes go by without a wave.
Alyssa Spencer. Wow. Just got the hair tied back, ready for battle.
This is it, mate.
Final coming
up.
up.
Feeling the energy?
Yeah.
There's a World Championship heat coming up. There they go. They're going to have a little high five or acknowledge each other at all? Probably not. But this is huge, folks. If you're at home, we're 9.5, just under 10 minutes away from kicking off our world title heat. One of these two women will be a WSL world champion. Ticket to the banquet table there with all the stars.
Fancy dress.
Fancy dress. Is it fancy
shoes.
dress or just you mean fancy?
No, a dress that is fancy.
Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't know. I was going to say I didn't know that WSL banquet was fancy dress.
Wouldn't that be a cruel thing?
Oh, but actually be awesome.
By the way, Alyssa, it's retro theme tonight.
So there they go. Two young women. Destiny awaits, and 9.5 minutes remaining to find out who's going to join Cade Matson in the final of the junior men's. Lucas Vicente, he's holding down the lead right now, a 4.9 and a 3.5. He'd be pretty nervous about keeping a grip on that. In fact, he'll probably want to do some more surfing before he starts thinking about the clock. Joe Azuchi, a 6.5. He's trying to get in position here, and it looks like Lucas has found a right here, JJ, and it's steep. Flies off the bottom, throws up the first turn. Nice, solid re-entry, backs it up with a good swish, and a big float to land, airdrop. Yeah, he likes that little claim, and here goes Joe Azuchi now. Has he got something? He's nailed that first turn. Critical as gets a little foam climb. He'll put his hands in the air, just let the judges know that he's ridden out of that. How do you see those two waves panning out?
Amazing, hey. They're both feeling pretty good. Obviously, hands above the head for both of these guys. I think Vicente, it was hard. Did we see the start of Joe's wave? It's a couple of big moves there. Big drop, kind of floaters. Here we go, replay now, Vorno. So driving into this one. He waited for it, picked his moment. Anything could have happened there, but he kept it pretty up and down. And this turn here, the big dump floater just escapes in front of that. Dropping out of the sky, feeling pretty good. And then we go over to Joe.
Beautiful surfing there from Lucas, really piecing it all together. That was just one big hanger, just a big old, what do you call it, a lip punch maybe? Didn't quite get the snap going, but full commitment, monster section, and a really thick lip. So, I mean, he weighed that up beautifully, managed to get the board up and over and got the clean ride out, and then a bonus little foam ride, I suppose you could call it. I think that Lucas will definitely get the better of those two waves, but Joe's probably, well, he's definitely going to replace the one, but he's probably going to get a good score for that one too, even though it was just one turn.
Yeah, maybe with the 6.5, he could just stay in front of Lucas on the combined total. Wow, cool exchange. Very different situations there. We've got multiple turns for Lucas on the right. And like you said, Bono, just that one big section where he just kind of flew off the top and just kind of landed down on the flats. Another big clean turn off that closeout would have really helped. But pretty cool stuff to watch. This heat has flown by. 6.5 minutes remaining. And he's going to swing. Nope. Thought Joe was going to go that one. So
scores just critical now. Same sort of thing happened last heat. We were watching Justin Becret and Cade Matson, and both of them got really similar waves. It was really hard to pick them apart. I think possibly from the judges' tower, you get a much better idea of how big the turns are because you get the full range of the spray, the whole sort of, you know.
Cade was kind of next level in that heat, I reckon.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Strong.
But it was actually hard to break it down on the screen, mate. It was because, you know, they're both filling the screen. They're both big lads. But when you see the size of the wave and the commitment of the turn in real time, it's a little bit easier to pick them apart.
Yeah, I saw something in Cade's surfing that last hit. I haven't watched him too closely. I just thought, holy moly. Because he said earlier, he goes, oh, you know, my backhand's my strength. And I was watching those lefts, I was like, oh, this guy's got something special.
Yeah, well, that's what I said
It's hammer time.
I said that to Mine. I was just like, I think the power is undeniable.
Yeah.
You know, you can compare the turns, but there was just so much grunt in what he was doing, and he was really fanging out of the turn too. Love watching that. I love watching aggression, hey? Like, it just turns the dial to that next little bit. It goes into the red line zone, you know what I mean? You can see really good surfing. You can see guys who are nimble and quick and be pretty mind-blowing, but throw grunt in the mix and you really start.
Is there any sport where aggression doesn't pay off?
I'm going to say synchronised swimming.
Lawn bowls. Oh, here we go.
Straight into the ditch down the back.
So 7-8 scores for Azuchi still to come through. Just the one big move. He's back in the lead. 6-5, 6-9.
Oh, 6-5 for one turn. I'm backing that big time. I think that wave was a lot bigger than we're giving it credit for. So this one from Lucas had beautiful flow though, didn't it?
Yeah.
Put it together beautifully. The rights can sometimes mush out. The way that he just maintained speed right through from start to finish. Never, ever lost it there. Beautiful ride.
And Joe, look at this big lip ride, lip line floater. Drifts out with it, goes weightless, and applies the pressure just at the right moment. Thought he might.
If you're these two guys right now, even though Azuchi has the priority,